The 2-0 Texas Wesleyan Rams are back home and have another stiff 2023 Sooner Athletic Conference test. This time, the NAIA 13th-ranked Rams host the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies. Good evening. Welcome to beautiful Crowley ISD Stadium. I'm Jimmy the St. Christopher alongside Jared Jones for the Antler Sports Network College Game of the Week. Rams and Aggies tied for first at 1-0 in the Sooner Athletic Conference and have rolled up 101 points, allowing just 30 in their two games overall. Jared, OPSU was walloped by Southwest Baptist University 65-7 in their opener, but beat Wayland Baptist 33-17, so the Rams aren't taking the Eagles lightly.
One thing about this time of the year, it's kind of that middle ground. You get out of your non-conference games, some of the tougher opponents that you see in non-conference play, maybe not to the same degree that you'll see eventually, especially in the Sooner Athletic Conference. There's a lot of fantastic teams. Of course, you have Ottawa, Arizona, and the Spirit, and Texas Wesleyan being two ranked teams. But we even talked about this on air, the Louisiana Christians and the Sagoos, teams that can give almost anybody issues. So games like this is going to be a great test. Wesleyan already had, I would say, their early test in Ottawa. Of course, as any of us may recall, the Rams handled them pretty well. Now they go against an Aggie team, a long bus ride. They're going to have a lot of fire in them, ready to take on the Rams.
Yeah, 6:48, or by some cases, 7 hours and 14 minutes via bus up to Goodwell, Oklahoma, is where the Aggies of OPSU, Oklahoma Panhandle State University, hail from. I caught up with Rams head coach Joe Prudhomme this week on 1st and 10. Welcome to another edition of First and 10 with Rams football coach Joe Prudhomme. I'm Jimmy the St. Christopher. The Rams' first road game of 2023 was a 65-10 blowout of North American University down near Houston on Saturday, where the Rams ran up 411 total yards. They were up 21-3 at the end of the first period, 42-3 at the end of the first half. Well, Coach, obviously there's no letdown from the big win over Ottawa.
We had a good first half. We really did. The first half, we played well. The third quarter, we were pretty dull, really. I mean, we were flat and didn't come out of the locker room the way I wanted to. But, then the wheels came back on in the fourth quarter, and, we had a lot of young ones playing, midway through the third, all the way through the fourth. And they really came out and gave a great effort. But early on, we were sharp, and I was really pleased with the way we came out and started the game.
Carson Rogers had 306 total yards throwing, 4 TDs, couple of picks and a sack. What did you see from him? Did you see any progression or any digression from the win over Ottawa?
I thought he was sharp again. He was. He had a couple picks. One of them was just poor judgment. He thought he could get the ball out with his left hand to a running back that had leaked out. The other was he was off his back foot, kind of forced it into double coverage, and it was a red zone pick, which is always kind of nerve-wracking. But other than that, he was sharp. He was finding the receivers, going through his reads, good progressions. Only missed a few balls that he probably should have hit. But, he keeps growing up and getting better and better, and every game of experience will hopefully continue his improvement.
And A.J. Bob caught 7 balls for 147 yards, couple TDs of 49 and 27.
Yeah.
How is that chemistry between Bob and Carson developing now?
Oh, it's outstanding. They work really well together. Their timing is really good. I think 3 big plays have been off of when they jump and then he just lets it go to him, and that's been really good for us. And Bob is really improving as a route runner, and Carson's looking for him, and he sees him because he knows when Bob gets it, good things happen. So and Bob's very reliable, good hands. He's where he's supposed to be in the routes, and their chemistry has been a real key for our offense.
And how much ceiling do both Carson Rogers and Bob, and the receivers for that matter, what are the ceilings for the quarterback and the Rams receivers?
I don't know yet. I think that we've really kind of scratched the surface on that, and I feel like it's going to continue to get better. The receiving group is really, really young, but Carson is a young quarterback too. He's in like his 4th start now that he's had. He's got a high ceiling. He's intelligent. He's got a strong arm. Goes through the reads. It means a lot to him. He's a film junkie. He can see over the line. He's a really tall kid. And the receivers, I think, will just keep getting better and better. It's a young group outside of Bob and Price. I mean, it's a young group, and I expect them to grow up.
Carson Rogers was sacked one time. That's the first sack this season. What happened to the old line? They gave up a sack. But how much are they improving week to week?
They had a good game. And the sack was Carson's fault. It wasn't their fault. He looked off an open receiver and held on to it just a little long, and they can only protect for so long. And but I thought they had a good game. They opened some holes, some gaps for them. The run game, the protection was really solid again. Running backs were good in there as well. The sack was really on Carson and not on the O-line.
In a game like this, were you more reliant on the passing game when they're clicking, the passing game, Rogers, Bob, Price, the receivers, than with the running game?
You really kind of got to take what they give you. If they decide to take away the run, you got to go to the pass, and you got to be successful with it. If they're going to stack the line and really fill the box up, then you're going to have to go outside to your receivers and win those matchups. And you have to have a feel for what they want to take away, and then take advantage of what they're given. As long as he is patient and takes what they give him, and don't try to force anything or be overly spectacular, our offense will be really, really good and solid for long term. And Fran gets in such a good groove with his play call, and our offensive coordinator, Fran Johnson, and he sees what they have going on. Communication between the coaching staff is really, really strong, and everybody's on the same page. It's just a matter of figuring out what it is they want to do and then counteract it.
And the defense was spectacular. A fumble recovery, a safety, a block punt, all for scores. How spectacular can they be, and how good were they Saturday night?
They were really good Saturday night. Fundamentally, we did some things poorly, but only on a couple plays. But you had a scoop and score for a touchdown. You had several picks. I think it was 3. A total of 5 turnovers if you count a fourth down stop, which we do. And forced fumble. They're playing well. I mean, they are forcing the takeaways. It's not like the offense is just turning it over lightly. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of athleticism, and they fly to the ball, and it's a fast group, and they're starting to play better together, and they understand each other. And the more they can complement each other and know where the other one's going to be, I think the ceiling for them is equally high. And special teams were really, really good. Kiki Colton blocked the punt. He came through there and got that. We had another safety on a punt where we tackled the punter in the end zone. And right after the safety, they kicked it off to Jason Price, and he did what Jason Price does, and he took it to the house. And that's really great special teams when you get that. The only downfall was we had a field goal blocked, and it was a breakdown in protection, and we got to fix that. We've already addressed it, but we'll fix it this week.
What did you see out of the defensive line and basically the front seven with the linebackers? But what did you see out of the front seven?
They did what they're supposed to do. They do a great job of their gap integrity and taking care of the cutback lanes were cut off, and they did a good job overall. There's one play we gave them. I think it was either for a touchdown or close to a touchdown, and linebacker took himself out and went to the line and created a void. And other than that, though, those guys are playing well. I mean, they know where each other's going to be. Their calls are good. They're mixing up what they're doing. The stunts with the base. They're sound tacklers. I mean, we have not missed many tackles this year, but we practice it every day. 4 days a week we practice tackling. Not to the ground, beat them up, but really fundamental tackling, and it's starting to really show. And I'm really thinking that it's going to get better and better as we go along.
Is that one of the philosophies for the defense for Coach Duckworth and for yourself and for the team, is to turn the defense into a point-scoring machine?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if we can score points on defense, we're going to, or create opportunities. You're always looking to steal possessions. The more possessions you can steal via the special teams, the takeaways, things of that nature, the higher your percentages of winning go up. We had a defense back at Nolan back in the day, is 2004. That defense outscored the opposing offenses that year. It was like 79-58. That's the kind of defense that Coach Duckworth and Coach Rosas are accustomed to really building. And you get to that point, and the defense is creating turnovers and really big plays and TFLs and sacks. it kind of ignites everything, for the offense and special teams. It's just a real lift when you start to see those things being consistently done. And that's what I tell our guys, don't act like you're surprised when it happens. Just look for the next one, because it's going to happen again. Don't get too high on it. Don't get too low when something bad goes. Just get up there and hit that mid-level high and stay on it. And they've done a real good job with that. And, they're showing some maturity, and that's encouraging.
The Oklahoma Ford Dealers Player of the Week, Special Teams Player of the Week was Jason Price. Boy, do we have to get him a nickname? Or you have Flash for any season? Do we need a nickname for JP?
We just call him JP. I don't, he does need a name though. He's really good, and he can stop and start so quickly, and that's what he does so well. Is he can cut when he's full speed. Not many guys can do that, and he can make people miss in a way that very few returners I've seen been able to do. But it's a good thing he does, because he's a little guy. He's probably about 5'8", 160. But he's really shifty. He's got eyes in his feet, when he's making cuts, and he's just he sees it before it actually happens, and that's a pretty rare trait for a returner. But man, he does need a nickname. I don't know what it is, but he's special, and he's think about it, he's a 3.6 whatever student too. He's really bright. He's got a huge future, whatever he chooses to do.
And speaking of areas that need to be tightened up, as Coach was talking about Carson Rogers, any other areas that need to be kind of tightened up?
Penalties. We've had too many penalties. Some of them, I don't know, a little bit. I'm trying to figure out why there were penalties on a few, but there's some things, obvious things that we've done. We can't have false starts, can't have offsides. If we could just do away with the pre-snap penalties, and then we typically have about one or two, why did we do that penalties? If we can do away with those, we'll be in a really good spot. But we have to tighten up on that. We had some illegal substitutions on defense where we had 12 people on the field. That's because they didn't get off in time. You've got to get off in time. And then we had a false start on offense. Kickoff, we had one out of bounds. That's 2 games in a row. If we do away with those, we'll be right at that 5. If you can get 5 a game, if 5 or less, you're really in a good spot. If you get more than that, you kind of create some issues for yourself, some challenges you don't want to deal with. But we got to improve and tighten up in that area.
And speaking of improving, the Rams moved up from the 21st spot in the NAIA coaches poll to number 13, knocking Ottawa, who was 17th, to the 22nd spot. How do you move up? Other than wins, but I saw a team that's 1-1 from Kentucky that's in the top 10 now. How did they get to be 1-1 with a loss?
I don't know. I think maybe it was against a really good team. St. Thomas lost to a D1. They lost to Stetson by 1 point.
That's right.
They lost to Carroll, the top 10 team, by 3 points, and they fell. So it's really just kind of based on who you play, I think, as part of the equation. I don't pay enough attention to the polls to really be an expert on it or even be able to speak intelligently on it. I watch it a little bit. I like to see where we are. I like to see where some of our opponents are. I like to see what the jockeying looks like. But the mechanics behind it, I'm really not educated enough. I know that Coach Nesbitt and Coach Morgan out of Langston represent our conference, but and I do believe they've done a good job of representing us. Otherwise, we never would have moved up like that. So I don't know. I can't answer that intelligently, but we were happy to get up there. But now I just told our guys yesterday in a team meeting, that target just got a lot bigger. Every time you move somewhere and you go up a little bit, the target on your back gets bigger and bigger. So you got to be prepared for everybody's best shot. Not that we didn't think we'd get it anyway, but now that little extra adrenaline, that little extra, effort and motivation is going to be there.
And I know we've talked about the polls changing. We won't get into that now. We'll get it. How about if we get into that later on the season as the Rams go to their undefeated season? Remember, if they go undefeated or win the sack, Coach Joe and I are going to do the celebration dance. But we'll get into the really complicated. You almost have to take a course in the new how to follow the NAIA top 25 polls. But the Rams got to 13th in the polls. Now they start a 2-game homestand at beautiful Crowley ISD Stadium, starting on Saturday, a 7 p.m. tip-off against Oklahoma Panhandle State. We'll have the Antler Sports Network pregame show, which can also be on ramsports.net. Just go to the schedule and find the game and then look on schedule if you want to watch it via ramsports.net. But they're 1-1 are the Aggies, and what do you see in them? They had a big loss, and then they beat Wesleyan last week.
The big loss was to a D2 that's really good, Southwest Baptist out of Missouri. I see a team that's in first place with us. That's what I see. I see we're tied for first. It's us two and Louisiana Christian. It's an opportunity for us to hopefully stay in first or for a part of first, and that's important to us in a big way. That they're good. They're physical. They run the ball well. They prevent big plays. We got our hands full. I mean, we're playing somebody that we're tied with in the conference, and if we don't go and get after it and really prepare well and play well, we're going to be in for a dogfight that we may not win if we don't get after it. We have to be playing at a really high level in all three areas. Some people look at it, well, they got beat so bad in the first game. Well, they were playing a really good team. So I don't put much stock in that. I put a lot of stock in what we see on film, and what I see is a team that runs the ball well. I see a team that prevents big plays. I see a team that is athletic, has some good speed, and are big. They're a big team. So we have to prepare well. We have to execute well. We have to protect the football. We have to create turnovers. And we're good at that. I mean, we are good in those areas, but we have to continue to be good in that. And then special teams, we have to win the special teams battle. That is something that every week is a non-negotiable. We have to win special teams. We just put too much time and effort in it, and to me, it's the game changer. It's the thing that flips games. Like the other night, it flipped that game completely. We got a good stop. Next thing you know, we block a punt, got a safety, then you get a touchdown. That's a 9-point swing in a matter of seconds, and those are hard to recover from, but they're also a great jolt to your team to really get them going again.
And speaking of those running backs for the Aggies of Panhandle State, it's C.J. Campbell and Miles Ratliff. Is there any difference between those two? Is it like a lightning and thunder, or are they pretty?
It's like thunder and thunder to me. I mean, there's one guy that, C.J.'s a little faster, but they're both big backs, 190, 200. They fill up those pads well, and they run behind their pads well. So they got good speed, but they've got good builds on them. They're going to be tough to bring down, and the quarterback runs well. He runs very, very well. So, we've got our hands full. And if we don't make our reads, if we don't wrap up, if we don't get them to play from behind the sticks, it could be a long game. I mean, I could see them. We have to get ahead, I think, and I don't want to play from behind with them because they'll be a team that will grind the clock. They'll be a team that will shorten the game, and every possession matters. So we have to get ahead. We don't want to play from behind, and then we just have to play at a high level.
What kind of quarterback is their quarterback, Brandon Stevens? Is he like a bus driver, or has he got an explosive arm?
No. He's got a good arm, but he's a better runner than that. And he's also a very well-built, good-sized quarterback. He's a run threat, so that's always a challenge for your front. He does throw the ball well. He's got Draylon Robertson, who's also a Fort Worth kid, who's going to be a challenge for us. He's from Tarleton State originally, and from here on the east side, Young Men's Leadership Academy. He can fly. So we cannot give them the big pass plays, and we got to contain his running. If we don't, it could be a long night.
Big game coming up, home game number 2 at Crowley ISD Stadium. We've talked the world about CISD Stadium, and we mean it. So grab your tailgating stuff. They're doing tailgating.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And the 7 o'clock kickoff will be on the Antler Sports Network, and as I said, ramsports.net. But grab your tailgating stuff, get down there early, take 35W, and then take South Freeway, and it's Rosinger, and then Hemp Hill, and you'll see this big, beautiful stadium, basically in the middle of nowhere there in South Crowley. It's about 12 minutes. Ricky Dotson was telling me about 12 minutes.
About 12 minutes,
from
yes,
the
sir.
School.
Mm-hmm.
So. And go get the cowbells too, because you can buy them, I think, at the stadium. Right?
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, and it's going to be a pretty night too. I mean, the weather's going to cooperate. It should be in the 70s. It ought to be a fantastic night for football. It'll be the first football weather night that we've had this season.
Right.
That I call football weather.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's going to be got a chance to see a really good game. Really good game.
And I ask about this every year, but speaking of the weather, when it cools off now, I thought maybe we get some more hot stuff into October, but since it's El Nino, we're going to get, I guess, rain and the cooler temperatures. But how much of a difference does that make when it goes down about 20 degrees before game time?
It's so much better. Last week we were down there in Houston, and the weather was awful. It was right at 102 at game time. Humidity was really tough. Thank goodness we had a breeze. We did have a little bit of a breeze. But when that temperature drops, like we had practice last night, and it was a full probably 20 degrees cooler than we played in on Friday night at the same time. It was completely different. Kids felt good. There was nobody cramping. We had no cramping down in Houston. We took some measures because after the Ottawa game, we had too much cramping. So we took some measures to take care of that. But it's more fun. I don't know how else to put it. It's not a burden. When it's that hot, it is tough. You're on edge all the time because you don't know if a kid's going to overheat. You don't know if a coach is going to overheat. You worry about how you schedule your water breaks and everything anyway, and you do that all the time. But man, you have to be in heightened alert. And man, when it breaks a little bit, it's so much better, so much better. So we're looking forward to this week of practice. We're looking forward to, this weekend. It should be beautiful weather. We're hoping it'll hold up. I hope there's not an Indian summer behind this little break.
I don't think so. It's supposed to be up maybe next week in the lower 90s, but for this weekend, it's supposed to be like 80.
That'd be great.
I'm all for it.
All for it.
It's football weather, baby.
Amen. Amen.
So we'll see Coach Joe. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
And we'll see Coach Joe and the Rams against the Panhandle State Aggies on Saturday night, 7 o'clock kick at Crowley ISD. You can catch a pregame show with Jared Jones and myself, and then the play-by-play on the Antler Sports Network or on ramsports.net. For Coach Joe Prudhomme and his staff, for Ricky Dotson and his staff, for Kenneth Flowers and his staff, and James McBride and his staff, Jimmy the Saints, Christopher, for Coach Joe Prudhomme, saying so long. We'll catch you next time on First and 10.
1941, the Texas Wesleyan football team won the conference championship.
20 seconds till we're back.
Pearl Harbor in December.
Welcome back to Crowley ISD Stadium. Jimmy the St. Christopher, Jared Jones on the Antler Sports Network. Just moments away from kickoff tonight between the OPSU Aggies and the Texas Wesleyan Rams. Let's run through our starting lineups. First on offense for the visitors from Goodwell, Oklahoma, under the guidance of head coach Corey Miller. The offensive coordinator is Kenzie Kearns. Quarterback Brandon Stevens, 6'1", 200-pounder. He'll hand off to C.J. Campbell, 5'11", 190-pound junior. Jalen Partita, 5'10", 175-pounder, is the H-back. Jesus Rodriguez, the wide receiver. He's 6'4", 235 across the front. Left tackle, Calum Achando. Left guard, Gabriel Shalenza. Center is Tracy Todd. Right guard is Armando Lucero. Right tackle, Nicholas Kim. Also receivers are ex-receiver Ryan Acosta, Draylon Roberson, who's from Fort Worth Young Men's Academy, a leadership school, and also Charleston State. And on defense for the Rams, under the direction of Paul Duckworth across the front, it's Zeno Marcaselli, 6'2", 210 junior. Arian Bott, 6'2", 280-pounder defensive lineman. He's next to Keaton Wilson, 6'2", 290. Sir Hill, defensive end, 6'3", 210. The backers are Shally Cannon, 5'9", 200-pound sophomore. Jose Bonilla, 5'10", 210. Javari Sanders is one of those inverted players. He's a defensive linebacker, and he's a defensive back as well, 5'9", 180 for Javari. The corners are Sincere Blackman and Josh Morris. Jay Reed and Dalen Rogers are the safety for the Rams. Again, coached by Coach Paul Duckworth. Those are our starting lineups.
Gentlemen, please stand.
Let's grab another break. We'll be back with tonight's kickoff between the Rams and the Aggies on the Rams. Football continues on the Antler Sports Network.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence to buy with us.
I see Carson Rogers out there in his purple, I should say in purple, I'm used to saying purple, but in his powder blue uniform, number 13 on the back of it. And we're talking about Carson Rogers during the pregame show, during First and 10 show with Coach Joe. Jared, he talked about Rogers and how he's growing up, he's getting better, he's smart, he's a film junkie, explosive arm. And Joe doesn't really know the ceiling for either Carson or his wide receivers, including A.J. Brown.
Well, he definitely used his wide receivers last week against North American on the road, went 26 for 37 with 4 touchdowns and 306 yards. It's like he's playing Madden on rookie difficulty. He's just filling up the stat sheet. And if you're Coach Prudhomme and the rest of this Rams receiving corps, you have to feel like the offense is in great, consistent hands.
Absolutely, as we have the flippage of the coin.
Panhandle State has won the toss. They've elected to defer to the second half. Texas Wesleyan will receive in the north end zone.
Rams, and as we said, they're powder blue tops, they're blue bottoms, white and red, the coloring for the Aggies of Panhandle State. Our referee tonight is Joshua Bannerman, headline judge Scott Huffman, side judge James Wilcox. Osbert Dixon is the back judge. David Lott, the ump. Jeremy Hill, line judge. Crystal Offray, the field judge. And Aaron Reynolds, the center judge. As the Rams will be defending the goal to our left, the north end zone. 81 degrees, 53% humidity. Winds from the north at 4 miles an hour. Right now the flags are limp. We did have the players called off the field, Jared, at about an hour and a half or so ago. There was lightning within 10 miles or whatever the limit for lightning is. But that quickly blew by, and the players got to get back out there and warm up. So we're ready to go. Sun, some few clouds here in Crowley.
Well, hate to be a good old-fashioned cliche, but it's a great evening for some football.
It definitely is, and teeing it up, ready to boot right to left are the Aggies of OPSU, and approaching and then stopping just before he got to the ball was Alien Munoz, the kicker. Back in their blue tops with their purple bottoms are the kick returners for the Rams of Texas Wesleyan. Jason Price is back there with Aaron Bobb. They hang just between their 5 and 10, and we are underway from Crowley. It's a good kickoff, comes down to the 4-yard line. It's grabbed there out to the 15-20 center of the field and running into collision and getting stopped and decked at the 20-yard line for the Rams on the return. There's a new return man as they have those powder blue with white lettering jerseys on. It's Vernon Harrison returning. Let's set the Rams for you on offense. Correct that, Caden Glasgow, Michael Bonner, Peter Svoboda, Mikey Lee Williams, Ogden Morrison across the front. Cam Chapman is out tonight. It'll be Caleb McKinney at tight end, Anthony Bobb, Jason Price, receivers, along with Terrell Curtis, Ernie Caesar, and Carson Rogers, the center. Carson at the 21. First play from scrimmage. Caesar goes right. Caesar out to the 5. He gets a SWAT tag at the 31, then breaks into OPSU territory. He's scooted out of bounds at the 40-yard line right below us. Doing the scooting out was Charles Holmes, and a nice pickup of 30 yards to begin this thing as Ernie Caesar flashed on those running skills.
It's almost like we see the exact same thing almost every week. Caesar getting the Rams offense going early. Of course, that's going to set up Rodgers to kill him in play action, and now with an empty backfield, it's going to be interesting to see what this first down on the 40. 39
yards in that first play is a near hash at the 40. Caesar now to the right side of Carson Rogers. It is 45 in the sunlight, handing off to Caesar. Caesar does a little loop around and then dives forward to the 31-yard line, about a yard short before he's caught around the ankle. So 2 runs, and Ernie Caesar with almost 50 yards on 2 carries.
Now for the Aggies, fantastic tackle there by Jazier Merrick's right on time, possibly saving 6.
Rams go without a huddle as diving forward and picking up the couple of yards. He needed just a 1, maybe 1.5, and Rodgers dove forward and picks up the first down to the 28. So 3 plays, and they're deep inside Aggie territory are the Rams. 2-0 coming in. Aggies of OPSU are 1-1. Rodgers with Caesar to his left. Rodgers drop. He looks. He throws. It's complete at the 21, and then going incomplete. Looked like it was complete for Anthony Bobb.
Brings up second down and 10.
Boy, it looked like he caught that, but then he just couldn't hang on to it as he dove. I think he was diving before he had possession.
That's an iffy call there, at least from this angle. Looks like Bobb was able to haul it in, but OPSU, as soon as they got to Bobb, immediately signaling it was incomplete. So they definitely have a better view than I do. I guess we'll take their word for it.
Okey-doke, 2nd and 10 from ball almost in the center of the field from the 28 of OPSU for the Rams. Here's Caesar running left and runs into a collision there and then bounces out to the 29. He's going to lose back there as he gets shoved out at that point by linebacker Alejandro Holguin.
Caesar already looking like a pinball bouncing out to the outside. You want to make sure that he doesn't get to those numbers and turns upfield. And Holguin and company did a great job of getting Caesar before he can cause any more damage.
He loses a pair, so it's 3rd and 12 now. The Rams, after the quick start, those 2 runs by Caesar, which gained almost 50 yards, now 3rd and 12. Ball left hash at the 30. Rogers throws, and I don't know who he was throwing to. Looked like he was throwing it to the guy on coverage for the Aggies, defensive back Desmond Green, and he was the closest guy to the ball, so it was just a misroute or a misthrow there, so it brings up an attempt for a long field goal of 47 yards. They mark it at the 37. Line of scrimmage is at the 30. Garrett Blodgett with the big leg. Snap comes back, and the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. So a 47-yard field goal, 12:55, just a couple minutes and 5 seconds elapsed, and the big field goal for the Rams puts them up 3-zip. Let's grab a quick break. We'll be back with more of the first period Rams football on the Antler Sports Network.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
I'm at MoritchChevrolet.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Welcome back to Crowley ISD. Jimmy DeSaint, Jared Jones here with you. The Rams use just 2 minutes and 5 seconds here in the first frame to score the first points of the game, a 47-yard field goal by Blodgett. Ball is caught at the 8-yard line, and a seam far side at the 40, 50 of the Rams, still going down the far sideline and smacked out of bounds at the 29-yard line goes Draylen Roberson. Boy, what a return. I mean, it didn't look like anybody touched him.
Javari Sanders was the closest one and saved 6 there for OPSU. Now they're starting with amazing field position to get this great of a start against a Ram defense that can really hunker down and kill you on the offensive front. That's a great way to get things going on the road.
Brandon Stevens, your quarterback for the Aggies, 6'1", 200-pound junior. 3,455 yards, 31 TDs, 517 yards rushing, 9 TDs in his career for the Aggies. He's out of the shotgun with the back to his left, fake handoff, and overshoots, diving at the 18-yard line and just overshooting out of the reach of running back C.J. Campbell on the play. Campbell had a big game last week in the win over Wayland Baptist, 121 yards rushing with a TD. And he caught 2 passes for 60 yards and a touchdown, so he's a threat out of the backfield. So 2nd and 10 for the Aggies. They trail 3-0, 12:37 to play here in the opening frame. Glad to have you aboard on this Saturday night. And right side it comes, the handoff, it goes to the left, and Campbell gets decked out of bounds to the 21. Did he get the first down? Are they going to move the chains? Yes, they do. Far side chains and sticks move. So first down, a nice run by Campbell.
Looks like that was actually a Mario Millsap. Well, we have 2 9s on the roster, so that's good old-fashioned college football now. It gets pretty confusing, but either way, the Rams already getting a taste of their own medicine with a strong rush attack.
And Millsap would be the linebacker, so Campbell wears 9. That's what's confusing. They have 1 through 9. They have one guy on offense with the same number and one guy on defense. So Campbell now to the right of Stevens, takes the handoff, 20-15, 10 down to the 6-yard line before he's rolled over. Another first down on a nice run by Campbell as he gets rolled off his feet. Otherwise, a quick 6 for the visitors. Dalen Rogers, the big hitter out of the secondary, he prevented a touchdown.
Now it's 1st and goal. With the Oklahoma Panhandle State has a chance to do what very few teams going against Wesleyan has done before him, capitalize on field position.
So it's 1st and goal for the Aggies. Ball at the 8-yard line. 11:21 and counting here in the first frame. Rams up 3-zip. Man in motion, goes back, Stevens hands off to Campbell. Campbell splits to the right side to the 10, and then he gets inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. Not a bad run as he stiff-armed and got down to the 3 before he's bottled up, so it's 2nd and goal from the 3.
Campbell's already being hard to bring down on offense. A bit of a wrecking ball, dare I say Caesar-esque to start the game.
I don't know if this guy's name is Flash Campbell, but we do have a Flash Caesar on the field, and Ernie Caesar. Stevens with a quick snap from center. He goes with Campbell leading the way, but he gets to the 5, and then he is brought down, and he's piled up there. Probably gave him forward progress to the 5-yard line. Daniel Ibogan was the initial hitter. And then Sir Hill with Ibogan diving over the top. Cowbells in effect here. So it's 3rd and goal from the 6. They lose back to the 6. They lose 3 yards. Good play by Hill and the Rams defense. Stevens claps his hand. Toss pitch right. It goes. And then at the 13 stopping and going forward, and then piled up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 powder blue shirts with blue helmets, Rams defenders. And he got to the 6. They're going to mark it to the 7, so we actually lose a yard. So the last 2 plays, they've lost 4 yards.
Pardita, when he hauled in the pitch, looked like he was trying to look downfield. At first, I thought he was going to try to go for a halfback pass, but Wesleyan was able to surround him quickly and not allow him to get much farther, now possibly forcing a 3.
15-yard field goal attempt by Alan Munoz to tie this thing up with 9:21 and counting. Snap back, kick on the way from the 15, and it's a 25-yard field goal, which is good. So we're knotted with 9:16 to play. A battle of field goals so far. It's 3-3 as OPSU gets the 25-yard field goal. We'll break. We'll be back with more Rams football on the Antler Sports Network.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence.
Welcome back on the Antler Sports Network. Jimmy the Saints next to Jared Jones, and a battle of field goals, Mr. Jones, here in the early going.
If it is a battle of field goals, I'm not a betting man, but I think Wesleyan has a little bit of an advantage. But this is, as we always see with these early Wesleyan games, it's like a heavyweight fight. 2 heavyweight fighters throwing haymakers, trying to feel each other out. No one able to make the knockout blow yet, but this seems like it's going to be a good one.
Munoz, the kicker from Kingfisher, Oklahoma, down to the 3-yard line. It's grabbed there by the Rams straight up the center of the field and getting out to the 30, and a pretty good return before he's bottled up. A.J. Bob to the 31. So about a 25, 26-yard return. That's what the Rams will put in play in this 3-3 tie. We've barely played 6 minutes here. 9:06 to play here in the first frame. Rams looking to go 3-0. OPSU trying to increase their record to 2-1. They're blowing out in that first game that they played this season by Southwestern Baptist University. And then last week they came back to beat pretty good Wayland Baptist team 33-17. Carson Rogers with Ernie Caesar in his right hip pocket. Man running in motion toward us for the Rams is Jason Price. There's a handoff to Caesar. Stop, start, and he's so good at doing that move, but he couldn't get away. A nice tackle as he goes to the 33-yard line, and he's crunched to this turf here at beautiful CISD. Omar Millsap, the 6'2", 210 from Polytech Fort Worth, brings down Caesar after just a game to 2 at 2nd and 8 from the 33-yard line for the Rams. 3-3 tie, 8:37 to play here in the first period. Carson Rogers, snap, drops, straightens up, throws, and completed to Bob at the 41-yard line.
Looks like he might be just short. No, move the chains on the initial catch.
Yep.
Bob might have got that back heel right on the line to gain.
That play good for a
See if I can grab a quick peek of it on this big, beautiful board. I understand it's one of the biggest high school stadium boards in the country.
I surely wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. So we're going under 8 to play here in a tick. 1st and 10 from the 41 of the Aggies are the Rams. It's 3-3 tie. Caesars with that nice move. Cuts back in and out into some bob and weave into the 47-yard line as he gains 6. A host of white and red around him. And getting up off the bottom of the pile was Alejandro Holguin. And also on the stop was Kobe Hill. So it's 2nd down and 4, and it's 3-3 tie. 7:24 left to play. Clock on the move. We just had a big buzzer come up. Ernie Caesar with the handoff, and he goes left, gets a 1st down. He met resistance right at the 49-yard line, and he gets bounced back, and he gains the 1st down as the tackle was made by, again, is Desmond Green.
That play good for a Rams. 1st down.
1st and 10, eat more chicken, is Gino Borshot, our PA announcer for the Rams.
Eat more chicken.
We didn't have Chick-fil-A to start off the game, but we did have some Simple Simons from right around the corner.
And they had a dessert pizza, which was out of this world. I ate 2 pieces. I could eat in the whole box. Carson Rogers on 1st and 10 from the Aggie 48. Throws complete to the 39-yard line. A nice, beautiful catch made by T.J. Curtis, 6'1", 170-pounder from Cypress High. He looked really good in the scrimmage they had about a month ago against Southwestern.
And it's continuing that great play here. As we look at the instant replay, Rogers with a great pass and an even better toe tap there.
Nice toe tap and a 2nd and 1 as he's just short of the 1st down. Clock stopped because he went out of bounds. 6:30 left here in the first of this 3-3 tie. Handoff inside. It goes, and Aston Mitchell-Johnson, we'll call him AMJ, with a pickup of the yard and the 1st down. And the stop is made again by Holguin. He's been on a bunch of tackles. He's out of Americas High School in El Paso. The Rams moving now with 6 to play in the first. 3-3 tie. Ball center of the field. Ball at the 37 of the Aggies. Rogers, a quick drop. Complete. A diving catch made at the 34-yard line. And the grab was made by Ronnie Schneider out of Katy High School. He's just a freshman. And Coach Joe was saying on the 1st and 10 show, that you can hear on our pregame show every week before home games, he said they played a lot of freshmen in the 3rd and 4th quarter last week in the big window of North American, and they're continuing to play Frosh tonight. Handoff. AMJ goes to the left side. Mitchell Johnson gets stacked up at the 35-yard line. He picks up 3. He's spun around amongst the tacklers was Omarion Millsap.
Looks like he might have even lost yardage on that one as now it looks like a pretty good 3rd and long for OPSU. They have the Rams in Aggie territory. If you're going to get a stop, now is the time.
They lost 2 back to the 35. Ball at the far hash. Now pair of receivers each side, near and far. Back to the left of Rogers. A quick drop of 3 yards. Throwing it over the middle for the end zone. Throwing and just out of the reach. Incomplete. Diving into the end zone without the ball, A.J. Bob. Really good coverage in the secondary.
It's like Desmond Green strikes again. It's pretty much been the protector of the deep ball for this Aggie defense. Now looks like it could be even punt time. This could be a pretty good situation the Rams could put themselves in if they can pin one inside the 5.
The former Longhorn, Daniel Trejo. Machete is what his nickname is.
Put that on the back of a jersey.
Yeah, exactly. Machete, a high snap, gets it down, boots it from the Aggies' 46-yard line. Nice high punt, bounces at the 6, and it comes back. But then a diving touch attempt made on special teams by Caleb McKinney on special teams. He's also the tight end now, too, because they lost Chase Nielsen a couple of weeks ago, and then they lost Cam Chapman, who's out tonight.
One thing about this Rams depth chart, pretty much at every position. If one player goes down, it's a pretty good chance that someone of equal, if not greater potential or skill is going to be there right in their place.
Absolutely. So we'll see the Aggies from OPSU, Oklahoma Panhandle State University, up in Goodwell, which is what we determined 6:48 or 7:14, no matter how fast. Depends on how fast you're driving, but it's a ways up there.
If you go speed limit or not, that's a better drive that I'm willing to make.
Yep. Not quite the length of Texas, so I think it's 8 hours. And I've done that before, from the top of Texas to the bottom is more than that. There's a fake handoff, and bursting into the clear at the 30 and in Rams territory. Untouched so far at the 30, at the 20, at the 10. Finally grabbed. I think he was down at the 1. He was. What a run. So he went from his 23 to the Rams 1. That's 27, and 49 is 27, 40, 76-yard run. Wow.
Jimmy, I don't know about you. I trust your math a lot more than I trust my own. But you don't have to be a calculator or a mathematician to tell. Stevens definitely has all that 6'1" stride, bursting out pretty much in an instant.
That gets the crowd on the opposite side going. And good crowd come down from that 7-hour drive from Oklahoma, from Goodwell. And they're right at touchdown's door now. The 1st and goal from the 1. Stevens, the quarterback. Man goes in motion. Stevens runs. Stevens collected by the whole left side. I see all but one powder blue top and blue bottom around that play. So a host of Rams, a herd of Rams.
Looks like he might have even lost a yard, and Wesleyan looks like they might have taken a timeout. Smart timeout call.
So they do lose one. It brings up 2nd and goal from the 2. 3:23 left here in the first of this 3-3 tie, but Aggies are threatening. Let's grab a break. More Rams football at the Antler Sports Network coming up.
Shanky and Tyler, we're tough, never quits.
3:23 left here in the first period. It's been a thriller, a couple field goals for each team, but the Aggies, boy, they're just running right through the Rams all kinds of ways. 2nd and goal from the 2 are the OPSU Aggies in this 3-3 tie with 3:23 left in the first period. Stevens with another off pistol. Man comes in motion toward us. That's Woodbury. Handoff to Campbell. Campbell goes the right side again. They keep hacking away at that right side. They keep getting bottled up, Jared. They stop them after a gain of 1. Remember, they had a 1st and goal. They lost 1, and now they picked up that 1 they lost, but it's 3rd and goal after the Rams left side of that defensive line.
It's 1 step forward, 2 steps back for OPSU here inside the 5. There's not many teams in the conference, let alone the country, that can go pound for pound in the trenches with the Rams.
Let's see if they try that right side again. That was almost a replica of the first play that lost a yard. Rams defense trying to stop them here on a 3rd and goal from the 1. Now OPSU is going to a 30-second timeout. Do you want to keep it here with the 30-second timeout?
Yeah, let's keep it here. Why not? As you can see on that far sideline, Coach Corey Miller, in his first year, he is not happy at all. And deservedly so. You're pretty much knocking, Jimmy, as you said earlier, right on touchdown's door. If they punch it into the end zone here, the Aggies, this will be the first time all season long that the Rams have been down at any point in the first period of play. So this could be a big momentum-shifting moment for the Aggies. The hard part is you got to convert.
And a big moment for the Rams, especially front 7. Marcus L.A., Bott, Wilson Hill, the line, Cannon, Benia Sanders, the linebackers, where they've thwarted them. They've tried those 2 almost exact replica plays, and offensive coordinator Kenzie Kearns, let's see what he dials up now for the Aggies. 3rd and goal from the 1, 2:44 left here in the first. 3-3, we are tied. Big game for both teams this early in the season. Stevens runs up out of shotgun formation, takes it, and then dives forward. He gets the tush push from behind into the end zone. He goes.
Well, Can't go left, can't go right. Only one way left, and that's right up the middle as we have a quick stoppage of play. Feel like the touchdown, no matter what, is going to stand.
Yeah, it was against the Rams. Javari Sanders whistled, and they're on the board with 6. OPSU with 2:44 left. The 1-yard dive on the tush push. Stevens takes it in, and now Munoz will try to make it a 10-3 Aggies lead. And as Jared just said, this is the first time this season the Rams have trailed in a ball game. Back it comes, at least early going, and back it goes the snap in through the uprights to the left it goes. 10-3 our new score. 2:42 left here in the first after that 1-yard dive by Stevens, and the Aggies are up over the Rams. Let's break away. We'll be back with more Rams football on the Antler Sports Network. Foghat in the background here at beautiful CISD. Nice crowd on hand tonight, and they came down in good numbers across the way from Goodwill, Oklahoma. Did the Aggies fans from Oklahoma Panhandle State. As Munoz ready to boot it up. Boy, every time I look up, he's kicking off. This will be his third kickoff, and there's still 2:42 left in the first period. Aggies up 10-3. And back into the end zone goes Price. Price brings it out to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30. He spins, and then he's bottled up. Good special teams, boy. They're preventing the electric Jason Price and A.J. Bobb. And on special teams tackle was Christopher McGee. Yeah, they've because that Price and that Bobb, those guys are electric.
All-American caliber for a reason. And so far, OPSU has answered the ring of the bell. But can they do it on defense once more?
We'll find out here as it's 1st and 10 for the Rams from their own 30. Ball is placed just the tip of the ball is right at the hash mark there that intersects with the 30-yard line. Bobb to the left side, 2 receivers to the near side. In motion goes Price. Inside handoff, gets a couple of yards to the right side, and diving through was Austin Mitchell-Johnson again on the play. As Ernie Caesar will come back in now. I was going to say, where's Flash? There's Flash. They're just giving AMJ a couple runs, giving Caesar a blow. AMJ picked up 1 on that, so it's 2nd down and 9. 2 minutes and a couple ticks here in the first frame. And red white hat Joshua Bandman picks up a piece of equipment and hands it to Ernie Caesar. Was that a mouth guard?
Yeah, it appears to be. Definitely need that.
Yeah, he does. Nice assist by referee Bandman. Hey, Ernie, here's something you forgot. You might want to put this in your mouth. So he does, and he's slotted now as Caesar. Caesar now will move to the right side of Rogers on the 2nd and 9. $1:42, clock going. Rogers back. He stutter steps and then looks and throws complete at the 41-yard line, and they get the first down.
Rogers pass complete to
T.J. Curtis with the coverage there by Alejandro Holquin. He's been making a lot of plays tonight for the Aggies.
Holquin's doing a lot, not only in coverage, but in the open field, making tackles, preventing extra yardage for the Rams offense. If they want to try to contain the Carolina Blue and Navy, it's probably going to go through him.
So 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 41, their own 41. Their trail, nearing a minute to play here in the first frame. It's 10-3 Aggies. Rogers throws complete at the 43-yard line in the Aggies territory, and then shirt collared and wrangled out of bounds at the 39-yard line. There's Ronnie Schneider. Schneider on the catch. And the stop was made by Kobe Hill. And another first down for the Rams. They get that one to the 39 of the Aggies. They trail now. It's a rarity for the Rams to trail. Now Caesar will switch and go to the left side. Takes a handoff from Rogers, and he goes absolutely nowhere. Gets a yard. 1 yard on the play, and stop made by Parker Mathis, defensive lineman. So it's second. Board says 2nd and 10. I guess they didn't give him anything. Wow.
This front line of OPSU is definitely going to get tired out, but this is Wesleyan's arguably biggest test of the year. And it seems like another timeout has been called to talk things over.
Yep, it has. So that's the end of the first frame. They'll talk it over, and we'll switch sides. We'll come back with the start of the second period. The Aggies of OPSU lead the Texas Wesleyan Rams. It's 10-3 as we go to the second period. Rams football on the Antler Sports Network.
Shaky and Tyler, we're tough, never quits.
One period in the books, starting our second set of 15 minutes. 10-3 Aggies in the first frame. They lead the Rams.
Interestingly enough, even though OPSU has the lead on the scoreboard, they don't even have it in the first down column. In that first quarter play, the Rams already was 7 first downs. OPSU only with 4, hasn't attempted a single pass all game. It's been all rushing for both of these ball clubs.
And they have that 113 yards on the ground. The Rams have 113 total yards. Rogers drops back, throws with both feet planted complete at the 37-yard line, then flung back and losing his helmet. Ronnie Schneider with the grab, and boy, it's going to be 3rd and 7. He picks up 5 on that. So they grabbed him at the 36, and he got flung back to the 42.
Jazir Merricks with his second tackle of the game. Last time he had a tackle, it was pretty much that same effect. Very aggressive. An alligator would be proud the way he rolls his prey, so to speak.
That's a good analogy. I like that. I'm not a Florida Gator fan. I'm a animal fan, a reptile fan. And
National Geographic kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. So empty backfield on a 3rd and 7. Rogers drops for the Rams. They trail 10-3. Rogers runs and then throws. Little complete pass to Caesar. Couple nice moves by Ernie. Gets a first down to the 27-yard line, I believe, is where they're going to mark him. That should be enough for a first down.
That's probably enough for one of the plays of the night, too. Caesar right on the outside, just moving and sliding his way around the OPSU defense. It's like trying to catch a greased pig, or in this case, a greased ram.
I'm telling you, his moves, they're also just succinct and quick. You know, go left. Wow. So 1st and 10 to the 27. Now, big first down for the Rams here. Just underway in the second frame. They're down by a touchdown. Caesar out of the game. It's AMJ, fake handoff to him, and it's picked off at the 27, near sideline and out of bounds at the 45, shoved out by Carson Rogers.
Guess who it is on the pick?
Oh, it's Holquin again, Alejandro Holquin from the Americas High in El Paso, and wow, he picks off Rogers. He had 1 pick last week, give him 2 now, and a big pick here. I thought they just picked up the first down. They were driving.
Holguin in his Lone Star State return, making a Lone Star State size impact. Very few times this year have we seen Rogers get picked apart by a secondary, but Holguin, he's been doing it in all facets of this OPSU defense.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Boy, I'm impressed with their defense. Like you said, Jared, they haven't passed yet, but they have that good running tandem between quarterback Stevens and running back Campbell. I just wonder when they're going to start throwing.
Who knows?
At all.
if you don't have to, why even risk it?
Exactly. So 1st and 10 from their own 49 of the Aggies now with a 7-point lead, and looking left and then pulling it in. Stevens and everybody but 3 Rams are around there. Does he lose his one?
Might have lost one, still winning on the official spot. He did lose one. Thankfully for the Rams, Jose Bonilla was there right on time and held on. Looked like he tried to hold on for dear life, as Stevens definitely had the acceleration.
Yeah, he did. And then the cavalry showed up, and then he smacked him back. So we played a couple minutes here in the second. Rams trailing 10-3. Backs on each side of Stevens. Handoff going left, and it's running back Miles Ratliff, who backs up C.J. Campbell.
And look who's on the tackle again. Bonilla this time getting him back to the original line of scrimmage. Bonilla's done a great job of getting to that outside, beating this OPSU O-line. Question is, can he do it for the rest of this game?
Here the Rams defense is saying, well, our offense ain't doing nothing. They're getting picked and just scoring a field goal so far here into the second frame. So we got to throw up the stop. So 3rd and 10, ball center of the field, 49 of the Aggies. Kind of long snap. Stevens a quick two-step drop, and he throws, and their first pass of the night complete, and it's going to be short of the first down, goes to the 45-yard line. It was complete to C.J. Campbell, but they're going to be 4 yards short, so it's 4th and 4.
Sir Hill with the timely tackle. We typically know him for his work on the defensive line in the trenches, but every once in a while we see him get into coverage, maybe cover a tight end or a running back or two. This time covering a slot receiver, just showing the versatility that Hill has in his speed and agility.
So they do have a punter to the Aggies. Hannon Garrett, or Garrett Hannon. And he had the ball vertical, so there's really no knuckling or anything. And a nice kick. It goes inside the 10 at the 4 and rolls out at the 3-yard line. Wow. Nice punt. And Garrett Hannon, I should say, the junior, 6'1", 215-pounder running off. Joyous and jubilant.
I definitely could look in Hannah's eyes. He knew exactly who wanted to place the ball. Some people say the way he held the football before the kick is a bit unorthodox, but look at the result and see I feel like the method definitely matches the means.
Hannon is from Borger High, and he's a McMurray transfer, but saw a dragonfly buzz by. That's a good sign. Been seeing dragonflies lately. Could be a good sign, could be a bad sign. Well, hopefully it's not a bad sign for the Rams, who trailed 10-3 with 11:18 left in the first half, and they got 97 yards to go. So it's 1st and 10 from their own 3 yards deep in his end zone. Dropping back in the middle of the end zone is Rodgers, throwing out, and a diving attempt incomplete. A.J. Bob at the 46. Good coverage. It was just a little too much oomph over his outstretched arms.
Rodgers, we know he has a big arm, arguably the biggest arm of the conference, and on display there. I don't expect him to miss the mark in the way that he did very few times for the rest of this game. We typically don't see Rodgers make the same mistake twice. A very intelligent quarterback. Jimmy, as you mentioned in the pregame, he's a film junkie. He's a very articulate and masterful quarterback. So if he goes for that again, could be for 6.
Yeah, he looks jitterish tonight. So 2nd and 10. Let's see what he does now. Handoff coming out to the 3 and then just getting smacked on the right side. Boy. AMJ on the carry.
On the stop for the Aggies.
I'd probably give that tackle credit to
Jaden Taylor.
Most likely either him or Marion Millsap. Either one of those were there at the time. Either way, that was a big hit. I almost felt it from up here.
3rd and 9 from the middle of the field. Rodgers in his end zone. Hands off right to Ashton Mitchell-Johnson. That gets absolutely nothing as he is going to lose a yard back to the 2. So bring up 4th and 10. So on 3 downs, they get zip. Started 1st and 10, they end 4th and 11. They actually lose a yard. Wow.
Coming up on this 4th down, you have to maybe beg the question for the Rams. How did they go into preparation looking at OPSU, especially with their remaining schedule? You have St. Thomas coming in from Florida, one of the top-ranked teams in the country, just waiting to show up here at Crowley and take you guys on, probably putting your rank status on the line. I hate to say it, but I hate to think that they looked over at this Aggie team.
Trejo, with his right heel almost on the end line of the end zone, boots it at the 36, and it goes out of bounds at the far sideline at the 39. It was Jalen Partita back, but he just got away from us, and it bounced out of bounds on the far side of the 39. So, boy, real good field position for the Aggies, and the Aggie fans have to be, pumped up now with 9:48 left here in the first. And as you said, Jared, I don't know, you have to wonder. I mean, still a lot of game to go here in the first half and then the second half. But, boy, the Rams just look jitterish and I don't want to say confused, but this Aggies team's coming out and hitting them in the mouth on both sides of the ball.
I feel like we could both agree this could be a pretty good descriptor of this game so far. Shell-shocked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And here they are again, are the Aggies, with real good field position of the Rams 39, 9:48 to play here in the second. They lead 10-3. There's a bad snap, and no, coming through. Did the Rams get it?
I feel like they did.
They did. I believe they did. They did. It was a bad snap. Sir Hill came through and fell on it at the 47 of the Aggies. So the bad field position for the Rams defense turns into good field position for the offense. They'll put it in play at the 47. Wow, what a turnaround.
As I like to say, Jimmy, big-time players make big-time plays. Sir Hill, right place, right time, swooping through and, most importantly, surviving the fall and maintaining possession.
So the turnover, the bad snap, was a high snap, and Stevens just swatted at it like it was a gnat.
One of the dragonflies that flew through earlier.
Get that dragonfly out of here. Get that football out of here. So the Rams have it 1st and 10 from their own 47. Real good field position. Crouching for the snap. Rogers hands off to Ashton Mitchell-Johnson. He busts his way to the 46. So nice gain. He picks up 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4.
Nice little chunk of change on that run. And I like to see Mitchell Johnson. He shares a lot of the same qualities that Caesar has. He stays low. He's very selective with the moves that he makes. Not too little, but not too much when running the football.
And Nick David West, who's from Ireland, by the way, I found out he's from Dublin.
Look at that.
We haven't seen his number called yet tonight. He's 2nd in the depth chart, but they're giving it to AMJ and then running straight up the middle and getting to the 33-yard line. A pickup of 20 yards. Vernon Harrison. Wow.
Right down Main Street and into the mayor's office, Jimmy. This is the Texas Wesleyan offense you and I and the rest of the Rams fan base are used to. Running the ball right up the middle, keeping it between the hashes for big-time yards.
And Harrison, one of those freshmen from Dayton High. Still haven't seen Nick David West from Dublin, Ireland. And Harrison runs it for 20 yards to the 33. So the Rams, center of the field at the 33. Rogers snaps the hands off to Ernie Caesars. Ernie Caesar turns the corner, has one tackle, he escapes, and then goes out at the 21-yard line. And that's the 1st down run of 12.
Here we go.
Yep.
Rams stringing them together. If you're OPSU, you have one or two options. You either try to weather the storm or hunker down and try to get yet another stop deep in your own territory.
And the sign of a good team, a championship team, is to take advantage of those breaks when things aren't going too well. And hopefully they can stick it in here if you're a Rams fan. Almost into the red zone is at the 21 of the Aggies. 10-3, Rams trail, 7:50 to play, first half. And there's Harrison again. Harrison doing some Ernie Caesar moves. When he gets to the line, he does the quick feet and then bounces around to the side. And he gets to the 18-yard line, picks up we'll call it 3. Woodson on the stop for the Aggies.
Woodson with yet another stop. Love to see his tackle numbers by the end of the first half. He's pretty much been the spearhead of this linebacking core.
Dickerson, who's their leading tackler, he had 5 in the first half. So it's 2nd and 7 for the Rams. Rogers hands off to Caesar. Caesar runs with a flag following him about 5 yards behind to the 11-yard line before he's stacked up close to a 1st down around the 12. But let's see what the laundry is. We'll hear from referee Joshua Bannerman here in a shake.
Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
A hold on the Rams. So it'll bring her back 10, and they're going to mark it back to the 28-yard line. Do the stick guy. Does the stick guy. Do the stick guys. They have to get to the 12. Second and a bundle. Second and 16. Bob will go split to the left. Two receivers to the near side. Slot left. Caesar now will go to the right side of Rogers on the second and 16. 6:40 to play here in the first half. Rams down by a touchdown. Bobbing and weaving and breaking tackles. Short tackle. Oh, and he loses the ball at the 20, 18-yard line. Did he lose it?
Looks like the Rams got it back.
Yeah, I think they did. Boy, it just popped out there. I didn't see A.J. Bob fall on it.
A.J. Bob looks like he...
And Trejo wears 0 for the Rams. Keyshawn Murphy, 0 for the Aggies. Second and 2, Rogers hands off and bouncing up and short of the first down, getting to the 47-yard line.
I don't think he gained anything,
Yeah, I don't think he did. Was Ernie.
Is that the first time we've seen Ernie have negative or no yardage, or any of the Rams running backs so far have no yardage on a run?
I think so for tonight. I think that was Harrison. I called him Ernie. Yeah, it was Vernon Harrison. He's in there running now, too. Ernie not getting that much work tonight. We still haven't seen Nick David West, Ashton Mitchell Johnson, AMJ. Receiver clumped up on the right side, 3 to the near side. Rogers drops back on the 3rd and 2, runs, crosses 45, slides, and got plenty for the first down. He needed 2, and he gets to the 36-yard line. So a nice gain of 8, 1st and 10 Rams.
Now, this is an interesting stat for you, Jimmy. So far, if we're looking at average yards gained per rush, Texas Wesleyan with a bit under 6, but OPSU a bit over 7.
Wow. They mark him at the 41. I erred and said the 38, so he slid, and that's where his slide started, the 41 of the Aggies. Handoff straight up the middle, oh, big hole. Harrison with a shoulder shiver move before he gets dropped to the 27, but a pickup of 14-yard. Another first down. Boy, and Harrison, they get all these backs. I mean, they grow trees at Texas Wesleyan for backs. I mean, over the years, and Caesar this year, and AMJ, and Nick David West, now Harrison. Timeout on the field with less than 2 minutes. $1:55 left here in the first. Let's grab a quick one, too. Rams trail the Aggies 10-6. Rams football will continue on the Antler Sports Network. Millsap being helped off the field. Actually, he's going off in his own accord with $1:55 left here in the first. Millsap, and I say that because he's having a big first game. Well, they had a big first quarter. Dickerson, who's their leading tackler, had 5. Holguin in that first period had 4. Millsap had 3, and that was just in the first period. So Rams with a 1st and 10. They're down by 4. There's a handoff, and I think it was AMJ again. He goes to the 28, and he gets shoved back to the 41. They'll mark him at the 29, make it. So Ashton Mitchell Johnson with a small loss, 2nd and 11 back to the 29-yard line.
Been a pretty balanced attack rushing the ball for the Rams outside of Caesar. Caesar with 9 rushes for 80 yards. Vernon Harrison, a pretty good evening so far, 4 rushes for 30 yards. Carson Rogers doing a little bit of work with his feet with 9 yards on the ground, and AMJ 7 yards, 7 rushes.
Rogers fakes handoff complete at the 21. Bob spins, and the ball comes out, and it's picked off by the Aggies down the far sideline at the 50, 40, 25, 20, and still going, and he gets shoved out at the 19-yard line, and they're all over him on the pick. Wow, I want to see that thing again. And being congratulated is Jazeer Merricks, a DB from Trenton Central and Montclair State.
Multiple flags.
Again. Yeah, there's a spin. I think he was down, wasn't he, or did it pop up?
I feel like it might have popped up, and the flag's being flown at about the 20-yard line. Maybe a possible block in the back.
Yeah, which would really hurt the Rams, or it would if it's against.
Running on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. During the return, personal foul, hands to the face. Throwing team number 13. It's a half a distance penalty. First down.
Wow. Boy, so they get bit by the pick, the long return, and then a hands to the face whistle against Carson Rogers.
Rams fans not happy at all with that call. If you look back at it again, definitely was a fumble, correct ruling there. But Rogers pretty much the last line of defense for the Rams to prevent the Aggies from breaking into the end zone, fighting pretty much one-on-one with the defensive back for the Aggies. Rogers just a little bit too much with 1:01 left in half number 1.
Wow, so that's the second big turnover. Holquin had the first one, and here's the Aggies knocking on the touchdown door. Handoff and getting crunched down going off the left side. Gain probably a loss. Campbell on the run. Campbell gets stacked up, and they're going to lose back to the 7-yard line, to the 8 they mark it. So it's second and goal from the 8.
What if I told you this, Jimmy? Campbell is the second leading rusher for OPSU so far today. Guess who's number 1?
Quarterback?
Indeed it is. Brandon Stevens already 71 yards on the ground.
Yeah, that's a big, and they haven't used Ratliff yet. There's the Miles Ratliff, the backup to Campbell. Stevens, looks like there's a timeout whistle against the Aggies. So the Aggies grab a quick timeout here. They're running out of play clock, and well, their head coach isn't too
Definitely not happy.
No. Head coach Corey Miller, 17 seconds left here in the first timeout on the field. Let's keep it here with those 17 seconds to go. So how about the two big picks? Holquin at 13:33 to start this early in the second period, and now at the end of the second period, Merricks with the big return and then the face mask on Rogers.
Now, this one thing I always like to try to speculate. Not only is it second down, only 8 yards to break into the end zone and expand this lead, but you have a unique opportunity. Do you go for a gadget play or just good old-fashioned use your running backs like oxes and break through?
I don't know. They have Stevens, as you said, who's running the heck out of the ball, and they have Campbell. Stevens hands off to Campbell. Nice move. He gets to the 5, to the 3-yard line. He's piled up there by a bunch of Rams going over the top. 8 seconds left. Timeout.
OPSU used their final timeout.
Yeah, they did. So it's a 3rd and 4. Boy, this would be big if they score a touchdown here.
Especially going right into the locker room. If you're Coach Joe Prudhomme and the rest of the defensive coaching staff for the Rams, hunker down.
Yes, because they can at least keep it to a 1-score game with a touchdown, the extra point, make it 13-6, but 17-6. Not that could not be overcome.
Not insurmountable by any means, but I'd rather be down in 1 possession than 2.
Yeah, you and me both. Like you say, especially going into the locker room. So 0 timeouts left for the Aggies. Rams have 2, but it's kind of irrelevant at this point with just 8 seconds left on the board. Good crowd in the field house seats, the Enzo seats, and a good crowd across from us for the Aggie fans. So it's 3rd and 4.
Here we go. Texas Wesleyan's calling a timeout.
Yeah, so it's battle of timeouts. We started with the battle of field goals, the game. Now we're going to end the first half with a battle of timeouts.
Well, midway through the first quarter, we had the battle of dragonflies. So have a battle on multiple fronts.
Yeah, my wife and I were big fans of the environment, trees, mountains, ocean, deserts, animals, insects.
Jimmy the tree hugger.
Dragonflies. Yeah, I'm a tree kisser, too. I have photographic proof of me not only hugging trees, but smooching them. It's big, beautiful trees of the Pacific Northwest up in Canada.
Hey.
So, boy, 3rd and 4, 8 seconds to play here in the first half. See if the Rams can slam the door on them, at least hold them to a field goal attempt. But you go for it if you have enough time. We'll find out after this play.
Only one way to find out, huh?
Campbell now switches right to left side of Stevens. Stevens drops, throws, and caught and into the end zone. No, it was batted down. No, he did catch it.
Wow.
It was caught. I thought it was batted down there for a second, but Elon Woodbury, with a rifle shot from Brandon Stevens, he just smoked that thing in there. Wow.
He definitely had me fooled. That was an absolute bullet into the end zone, an even better catch. I guess you don't have to do anything special. Just use the speed of your receivers, hope they get in the right position, and continue to hope that your quarterback gets it in the right spot. And as you can see, Stevens definitely had the arm to get in at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I'm impressed with him. Boy, Coach was talking about him big on the 1st and 10 show, which you can see prior to home games here on the Antler Sports Network on our pregame show. It was a bad snap, and they get the kickoff, and it's blocked, and breaking the tackle at the 35, and returning from that point all the way in after the blocked extra point attempt.
Oh, wait, we have a flag all the way in the back of the play. Thrown from about midfield. This could get interesting.
That. Oh, yes. Let's wait to see what that is. Wow. A lot going on there. That extra point attempt. Ooh.
This could get extremely interesting. No, the flag is waved off. Flag has been waved off. Wow.
So they score the 2 on it. It's picked up like around the 35 and then returned 65 yards by Javari Sanders. Javari is one of the guests at the luncheon on Friday that they hold before home games on the campus at Texas Wesleyan. So 16-8, they've halved the lead now with 3 seconds left. Wow. Let me get my board up to date.
That was an interesting 2 seconds.
16-6, and then Texas Wesleyan with the 2-point score with 3 seconds left. Making it 16-8. Sanders on the block. He picked it up, and we see it again on the big board. And well, nobody was even close. They had one guy dive at him. Alan Munoz, the kicker, and Sanders walks it in. Literally could have crawled in from there.
Probably could have skipped or.
Yep.
Now that would be interesting to see a player skip in the open field. Fair to say, Coach might probably sub him out ASAP after.
Like Ronald Acuna does when he before he rounds third base after he hits a homer for the Braves, he does like that little jump skip.
Or Jazz Chisholm Euro step.
Yes, that would be cool. So the kickoff comes down to the 10-yard line to the Rams, and out to the 35-yard line goes Bob, and we look up and see triple zeros on the big board here at CISD. So that ends the first half. It's been a thriller, a different first half, a wild first half. 16-8 Aggies of OPSU looking to end the Rams' 2-game winning streak and looking for their second win of this young season. And then at the halfway point, the Aggies are up 16-8. Let's grab a break. We'll be back with our halftime show coming up here in a shake. Rams football on the Antler Sports Network.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence to buy with us.
Here at the half between Sooner Athletic Conference rivals in the Texas Wesleyan Rams and the Aggies of the visiting Oklahoma Panhandle State University, let's take a look at our halftime stats. We're at the halfway mark, presented by Simple Simon's Pizza, proud supporter of Rams Athletics on the Antler Sports Network. Of course, at the halftime break, OPSU up 16-8, but multiple categories that could surprise any viewers of this contest. Wesleyan holding the first down advantage 12-5 against the Aggies. The Aggies getting more average yards per play with almost about 6. Wesleyan barely getting 3. Time of possession has been dominated by the Texas Wesleyan Rams. 19 and a half minutes with the football. OPSU having possession for about 10 and a half minutes. But the main factor separating these two outside of score has been the turnover game. Wesleyan already has 2 turnovers. OPSU only with 1. Looking at other scores across the Sooner Athletic Conference, let's keep with our Antler Sports Network rivalry, I guess you could say, as the Steers of Texas College are hosting the Spirit of Ottawa, Arizona. Right now, with 5:26 remaining in quarter number 3, the Spirit lead the Steers by a score of 41-8. Looking at some of the stats there, new quarterback in for the Steers is Broderick Brown, getting the nod over Isaiah Sadler. Brown is 9 for 14 with 138 yards, 1 touchdown throw, and 2 interceptions. Luke Giron for OUAZ, 12 for 20 through the air for 134 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Looking at the rushing stats for Ottawa, Chris Walter, 1 rush for 71 yards. That was his only touchdown so far of the game. Other touchdowns also on the ground belonging to Stephen Bradford, Jadon Lester, Luke Giron on the ground, and also Chauncey Hart. Again, the only touchdown so far for the Steers was a Broderick Brown to Terrell Hookfin connection. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the scoring drives and the stat breakdown for our current game. It's the Rams and the Aggies back after this. We'll take a 3-minute timeout and return. This is Texas Wesleyan Athletics on the Antler Sports Network.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence to buy with us.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
My name is Chance Cody, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence to buy with us.
We're at halftime here, about 7 minutes or so left here in our halftime break. I want to say it's been all Aggies, and I'm going to say that 16-8. Aggies of Oklahoma Panhandle State leading 16-8 over Texas Wesleyan. Wesleyan came in outscoring their opponents this year 103-30. On the other hand, Panhandle State 82-40. They've been outscored. They've won their last game. Texas Wesleyan has won 2 in a row, but what the half, Jared, 16-8 Aggies.
And the funny part about this game is the way we've seen Wesleyan dominate teams. It's the same way we've seen OPSU take control. A nice, simple run game that's been effective in getting yards, and fantastic job by the Aggies continuing to gain yards after initial contact. It's the exact same praises we sing for the Rams week after week. But as I said in the first quarter, Texas Wesleyan getting a taste of their own medicine.
And you covered the stats, so I'll go through the scoring drives. Garrett Blodgett with a field goal attempt from 47 yards went through the uprights to begin the scoring for the Rams. That was at 12:55 left in the first. And then we had the battle of field goals as Alan Munoz came back for the Aggies. He made a 25-yarder with 9:16 to play in the first period. And then it was a Brandon Stevens rush for a 1-yard touchdown at 2:42 left here in the first period. That made it 9-3. The extra point by Munoz went through the uprights. 10-3 was the Aggies' lead. Then Blodgett kicked a field goal for the Rams in the second period of 35 yards. Brandon Stevens only completed, 2 out of 4 passes in that first half. Completed one to Draylen Roberson. He's the kid that's from the academy, the Young Men's Academy in East Fort Worth, and a Tarleton State grad. That's the south. A D1 school just south of Fort Worth of about 77 miles. As a matter of fact, Tarleton State played TCU last year. TCU crushed them, but still. Anyway, Roberson was a transfer from Tarleton State. And Roberson for 4 yards from Stevens. Touchdown made it 16-6. Munoz's kick was blocked and returned by Javari Sanders for a defensive point after touchdown. It's blocked by Josh Morris of the Rams. That's where we stand at the half, 16-8, and a wild, wacky first half.
Definitely a wild and wacky first half indeed. But the Wesleyan rushing attack is potent as ever, but it's a lot more spread out. Vernon Harrison already with 4 rushes and 30 yards. Rogers getting in on the rushing action himself, 2 rushes for 9 yards. And AMJ, as you've dubbed him, Jimmy, 7 rushes for 7 yards. I guess you can call this his coming out game. Not everybody can be an Ernie Caesar.
Right.
But on the rushing attack for the Aggies, pretty much the exact same thing. Brandon Stevens, the quarterback, leading the way on the ground for 8 rushes for 71 yards. And C.J. Campbell, not too far behind, having a pretty solid game of his own. 6 rushes for 32 yards. The passing attack for both teams, pretty much a non-factor. Ronnie Schneider, 26 yards through the air off of 3 receptions. No receiving touchdowns for the Rams.
Yeah, I was impressed. We were talking to Coach Joe on the First and 10 show, which you can hear in our pregame show here on the Antler Sports Network prior to Ram home games. And then it's posted during the week on ramsports.net. But on First and 10, Coach Joe was saying about Stevens, he was explosive, had a good arm, he was well built, he could run, and yeah, he came in with some good overall record numbers, not record numbers, but overall numbers for the Aggies. 3,455 passing yards, 31 TDs, 517 on the ground with 9 TDs on his rushing in his time at OPSU, and he's only a junior, but he's got good size, 6'1", 200, but. And I like the offensive line. And I've really been impressed with the Aggies' defense, too.
The Aggies' defense, as I stated earlier in the game, doing what very few defenses so far this season have been able to do. And that slowed down the Rams' rushing attack. At this point, we'd probably be talking about Ernie Caesar, and Nick David West probably having about 60 to almost 100 yards apiece on the ground, especially the way they played this season. But now they've kept them at bay. But for how long can they continue it?
That's the question. That's a good point. And Jasir Merrick's led the Aggies in tackles in that first half with 9. And then came Cameron Dickerson, who had big numbers last week and coming in for the Aggies with 8 total tackles. And we called Alejandro Holquin's number a lot. He had 6 tackles. And how about Marian Millsap with 5 tackles? And they had 5 total TFLs. That's tackles for losses, did the Aggies, and then of course they had the picks, and boy, now they're sitting on top of a 16-8 lead. So let's see. It'll be interesting. I'm going to ask Coach Joe on the First and 10 show. We'll record that next week. What did he say to the Rams in the second half? And we don't know what he said now, and we'll see whatever he said if that has any effect on the second half.
Boy, if you're Coach Joe, this probably has to be one of the biggest halftime speeches you prepared this year.
Yeah.
You already touted as one of the best teams in the country, currently ranked 13th. A loss to an OPSU team not only could derail early season momentum, but it could derail your ranking as well. I know if you ask Coach Joe or the rest of the staff or the players, the ranking really doesn't mean much in the grander scheme of things, especially right now. But it would suck to have it derailed this early in the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So we still have 30 minutes to play here, about ready to kick off the second half here on the Rams football on the Antler Sports Network. And, hey, I went looking for the dessert pizza, the apple pizza that Simple Simon's presented to us, and that was in the bottom of the wastebasket, the empty box. I already had 2 pieces, though, before.
Are you sure you didn't eat the rest of it?
Well, I almost took the whole box at the beginning of the game. I just settled on 2 pieces, but I was going to grab the whole box. But I figured, well, I'll let somebody else experience the beauty of the dessert pizza from Simple Simon's. It was an apple thing, and I just, I got that from my mom, I think. I'm a big chocolate holic. I mean, I have to watch my sugars and stuff too, but boy, I tell you that 2 pieces of that apple dessert pizza was fabulous.
Well, Jimmy, maybe we can try to figure out a way to maybe get a pizza delivered to the booth just for you. How's that sound?
Well, how about in next week, the St. Thomas game, as the Rams kick it off here? Garrett Blodge with that big leg kicks it about 4 yards deep into the end zone, bounces, hits the bottom of the goalpost and comes back onto the playing field. So the Rams start here in the second half. Glad to have you aboard on this Saturday night. Can't believe it's middle of September already. Wow, we're over halfway through September. The Rams down 16-8, looking for their 3rd victory, but they have a big chore against this very stout, tough defensive front seven and the whole defensive 11 for the Aggies.
Quick score update out of Tyler, Texas. The Spirit of Ottawa currently up over the Steers of Texas College with 3:13 left in the fourth. Score: the Spirit 55, the Steers 8. You can find that game on the Antler Sports Network main YouTube channel.
First play of the second half, Stevens hands to Campbell. He goes off the right side, gets a couple yards, and around the play for Texas Wesleyan, Daniel Igbogan. He had help. Jay Reed came in from his safety position. So game of two, it's 2nd and 8, 14:33 to play and counting here in the opening part of the second half. We're early in the third. Backs on each side of Stevens. He claps the hands to Campbell, runs into his own guy and gets knocked back to the 18, turns the corner and gets a nice gain out to the 32 before he's ushered out. So it was a negative yard play. He turned into a 7-yard gain. Good run by Campbell. Boy, he's impressed too.
Seems like Campbell is already back to his running ways. If you're OPSU, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So they're 3rd and 4. 1 minute gone here in the third frame. 16-8 Aggies here in the second half. They have the same formation as last time. Backs on the either side. Now going to run into that pistol formation with 2 backs to the near side, 1 to the far side. He comes in motion and a fake handoff. It goes to the right side. Campbell, 35-40, 48-yard line. He gets cracked down on the far side. And what a run. 18 yards by Campbell. Hooly. That's a new one.
If you tune into the high school game last night between Tatum and West Rusk, you saw arguably Truck of the Year. How's that for a close second? Good night.
Wow. He ran 20 yards. He was -2, and he picks up 18. So it's 1st and 10 at the 48, their own 48 of the Aggies. Farhash. Man comes in motion again. And handoff this time goes left, and they lose 2. So it's 2nd and 12 back to the 46 as Campbell gets popped on that one. The Rams are saying, well, you can pick up 18. Almost got you for a 2-yard loss last time. We'll get you for a 2-yard loss this time.
Well, as a wise man once said, Jimmy, fool me once, shame on you. Tough to fool this Wesleyan defense.
Yeah, it isn't. Right. Jabari Coleman is the tight end who's been in motion. He's not in there now, though. 2 wides far, 1 to the near. Backs on either side of Stevens. Brandon claps his hands off to Campbell to run the Campbell horse. He goes straight into the stack and gets driven back. He picked up a yard. Wow, for the Ram defense. Sir Hill there, and he had help.
Seemed like Sir Hill and company are back to business as usual on the defensive front for the Rams. Getting to the quarterback quickly, getting into that backfield, trying to make life just a tad bit tougher for the Aggie offense.
3rd and 11. Cowbells in effect here at CISD. Stevens with the clap of the hands. Kind of a long snap from center. He takes a 3-step drop, then runs up about 2 yards, throws, and is caught, and then separated from the ball was Campbell. He is bent over after getting a pop at the 43-yard line. Boy, he was decked by Dalen Rogers. Remember Coach Prudhomme saying at the beginning of the season that Rogers was a hitter in the back, defensive backfield. He sure showed it on that one. Wow.
Seems
so 4th
that
down.
Thought there was a Aggie kind of maybe got the wind knocked out of him on that far side.
Yeah, it's Campbell that they're 10 and 2 on the near side.
If you're OPSU, you definitely have to be holding your breath. You hate to lose arguably your most consistent offensive weapon so far tonight, especially with so much football left to be played. Seems to be on one knee. Hopefully he's all right.
Might have the wind knocked out of him. Coach Joe diving in to see if Campbell's okay. Now head coach Corey Miller comes over for the Aggies. Yeah, he gets up. Yeah, he's okay. He's walking off now in between his head coach and his offensive coordinator. And a trainer there, too, giving him a pat on the back.
If we look at the...
Well, he's a bowling ball, too, 5'11", 190.
Indeed he is.
So 4th and 11. Garrett Hannon, the punter for the Aggies. Jason Price stands at his 16. And we have the whistle ready for the snap and the punt. 11:44 left here in the third period. 16-8. Aggies, here comes the heat. Boy, Hannon just gets it off. Bounces at the 24. The far sideline goes out at the 20. So that's where the Rams will put it in play. They'll touch it for the first time this half. See what they can do offensively.
Well, Jamie, call it extreme, but this first offensive drive, it's a fair chance that this is going to set the tone for the rest of the game. You're out of the locker room. Coach Prudhomme is still, in his halftime speech, still probably resonating in the back of the Rams' heads. How do you come out and open up your fresh half? A fresh set of quarters to play. It's almost like putting the blanket over the scoreboard and starting 0-0.
Yep, good point, Jared. So far hash for the Rams. Carson Rogers, the quarterback. Two-step drop, throws, complete to the far side to the 28-yard line, and then running over and knocking down the stick was Ronnie Schneider on the far side. And nice gain of 7. So it's 2nd down and 3. Rams quickly to the line, one wide to the near side. Looks like TJ Curtis, far side receiver. Tight end slot right. Handoff coming right and moving and breaking tackles into the clear at the 40. There goes Ernie Caesar. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Put a big 6 on the board for the Rams.
It was only a matter of time.
78 yards.
Only a matter of time before Caesar and the Rams broke out. And I guess they heard me. You need a momentum swing, and what a better way to do it from the workhorse, Ernie Caesar.
Ernie Caesar with the giganto run. See now if Garrett Blodgett can make it a 1-point game with the extra point. So Wesleyan has scored the last 2 times. That's going to
here we go.
Fake it. They
here
do
we
a
go.
Sliding gate, and they try to do the jumbo package. They try to get it in. Does he get in? Does he finally get pushed in? Do they signal arms up yet? I think he was short of the 2-point attempt. He was. Boy, stalwart defense on the 2-point conversion attempt, which would have tied it. So they lined up in the conventional 1-point PAT kick, and then they went into a big jumbo formation.
Much to the Rams' dismay. I think they thought they got it in, and I honestly can't blame them. As look at the replay yet again, it looks like he did indeed get in upon second view.
Yeah, we have a weird angle. They don't have an angle along the goal line. Should we keep it here, or you want to take a quick break?
Let's keep it here. That was, wow. That was interesting, to say the least.
So Caesar with the big run. They go for 2. Look like they got it from up here, but we don't have the striped shirts on down there, and 2-point conversion failed. So make it 16-14 Aggies. They had a 16-6 lead, so Rams have scored the last 8 points.
Hopefully to try to add on some more, but it's all going to start with another defensive stop here to keep the Aggies at bay.
Blodgett, haven't seen him too much tonight. Ready to kick off. Roberson and Partida are back. Partida in the near side, Roberson the far side. They're at their own 5. Blodgett ready to put a foot to leather. Approaches and he gets into it. Oh boy, he's got that strong leg and bounces 2 yards deep into the end zone for the touchback. It came back into the arms of Roberson, but already hit in the end zone. So that's actually a relatively short kick for Blodgett. He's put him on top of the, almost on top of the roof, almost hitting the field house.
Twice in one game.
Yeah. So 16-14 Rams down. 10:54 to play here in the third. I had a feeling this is going to be a good one, and it has been so far, and I'm sure it will be for the completion. Nice crowd on hand tonight. A lot of people in this field house seats, these standing seats just beyond the goalpost to our right. That's what I like about this. There's no track, so it's a real football field.
Not a big fan of tracks, are you, Jimmy?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Nice and simple, just no.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when you have a track, it takes away from having extra seating for suites, etc. There's a little completion from Stevens out to Woodbury on the far side, and he gets chased out after a couple yards.
If we look at the day that Stevens has had on the ground, almost like he's not even playing quarterback, like he's playing running back. 8 rushes, 71 yards, and a touchdown already for him.
That was Ryan Acosta. He's their second number 2. He was number 3, but he switched to number 2. Don't ask.
I wasn't going to, trust
me. Good. 2nd and 8 from the 27 for the Aggies, who lead by a pair. 10:13 to play and counting here in the third. Inside handoff, and the Rams, after scoring the last 8 points, are fired up. That's a gain of maybe a half a yard.
He might have lost one.
Yeah. They're going to mark it. Yeah, he did. He goes back to the 26, 3rd and 9.
It's a big 3rd down.
Yep.
OPSU with their backs against the wall. The Rams with an opportunity to flip fields with amazing position with a stop here on 3rd down.
Yeah, it'd be a quick 3 and out if the Rams can hold them here. Stevens back to his right. Man running across the formation in motion. Stevens the drop. Stevens straightens up. A rare throw over the middle. Is picked at the 46, to the 40, and then to the 33-yard line. And with the pickoid, and the Rams say, hey, we can get a pick too. Daylon Rogers, part of that tandem in the backfield, the defensive backfield, the big hitting safeties. Rogers, 6'1", 190, the sophomore. It was like he was throwing it right to him as we see it again. Boy,
almost
threw that into traffic. Wow.
That was definitely traffic. I-35 would be proud.
Yeah, it was pretty jammed coming down here today. And you coming in from Tyler.
I-20 was even worse.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Saturday. Whistle timeout.
OPSU is going to call timeout, maybe try to slow things down and regain composure, and I definitely can't blame them. You came out of the locker room, empty possession. You allow Wesleyan to score the one way that we know they're going to score the football best, and then your very next offensive drive is an interception. So definitely a good idea to talk things over, slow things down, and take a deep breath and reset.
And you said it too, Jared, at the end of the first half with that block punt. And they got 2 points to the Rams on the PAT after the block punt by Morris, and then Sanders returned it. That could be a momentum builder, and so far it has been for the Rams as they scored the big Ernie Caesar touchdown run, failed in the 2 points to tie it, but hey, they get the big pick now from Dalen Rogers, and they're in real good field position at the 33 of the Aggies.
One Rogers got it done on defense. Let's see if the quarterback, Carson Rogers, can get it done on offense.
He has 2 wides to the left, 1 to the right. Delayed handoff. Caesar right into the teeth. There's a shirt tackle as he gets dragged down just shy of the 25. Short of the first down by 3 yards. Cameron Dickerson, one of their leading tacklers. He had 10 tackles against Wayland last week. So 2nd and 3 after the pickup of 7. Yump jumped in there to get things set. Now we're ready for the snap with 8:41 and counting. Here comes Heat. Rogers fires, and it's tipped far side. That was almost picked up. That was picked. That would have been an 80-yard run to glory to the end zone. Boy, that's a nice play by Desmond Green. We called his number a number of times. Green out of the secondary. Good knockdown.
Looking at the pass there, Rogers seemed like he knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football, just didn't really execute 100%. And that's really been the story of Rogers so far this evening. Not the accuracy and the precise throwing ability that we've seen from him. Maybe just a long week of class. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Or his coach says he's still learning, he's still growing. And there's another play almost exactly like the other one. Incomplete at the 22, again underthrown. But if it would have been up, guess who? Mr. Green would have been taken for another 6. Green out of Coffeyville, CC. Crawfordville, his hometown.
Green has been absolute money so far in coverage as the injured Ram trots back off of the field, thankfully under his own power.
Boy, they're bogging down now. 4th and 3. Trejo will take a snap for a 43-yard field goal attempt. Blodgett looking for his 3rd field goal of the night. This one from 43 yards. It's on the way. And it's no good to the right.
Wow. Definitely had the leg just wide.
Yep.
Couldn't hook it.
He did that a couple weeks ago in the Ottawa game, I remember.
Had us fooled for about a good 30 seconds.
Yes. Notice I'm waiting for the arms up by the officials now. I think, well, it's through and through. And it was going. No, it wasn't. So, Blodgett with the missed field goal here. Score remains 16-14. Aggies, 8:21 left in the 3rd. Aggies will get the ball and go to our left. Wow.
Another quick score update back in Tyler. Ottawa, Arizona has just scored. Kevon Johnson, 26-yard touchdown reception with 3:53 left, makes the current score after the Landon Reeves successful PAT. Score is Ottawa 62, Texas College 8.
62 burger. And what's that in the 3rd?
In the 4th quarter, with 5:53 remaining in the game.
So Ottawa probably well on their way to win over Texas College. You do games for them, too. You'll be doing the Wesleyan game against Texas College out there later this season. Stevens drops. Stevens with time. Throws it complete out to the far sideline to the 20. Nice move. And then wrapped up at the 20, I should say the 29-yard line.
Pass complete to Jalen Partita.
So Partita, Reed on the stop, and it makes it 2nd and 6. Right at the 30, at the right hash. Clock ticking down to 7:48 left here in the 3rd. Aggies have a 2-point advantage on the ball, leading the Rams. And the Rams their first loss of the season. Boy, Stevens gets run out of the pocket, and he goes back to the 18-yard line. Wow. Goes from the 30 back to the 18, a loss of 12. Kobe Adams with the stop. We see it again on the board with Kobe with a lot of tape on that left arm. It looks like, look at all the tape. He has like 3 rolls of tape on his left arm.
Zebra arms.
Yeah, it does have zebra arms. So it's 3rd and a bundle, 3rd and 17. I don't know if you can get a cab or an Uber in Crowley, but you probably can, but we're in the middle of nowhere in Crowley, so a 3rd and an Uber ride.
How about an Uber ride to Simple Simons to get you another apple cinnamon pizza? Jimmy?
Yeah, the dessert pizza with those apples on it. 3rd and 17. Stevens pulls it in. Stevens with a nice hole and a burst of speed out to the 30-yard line. He's well short of the first down. He's about 6 yards short. And the stop made by Javari Sanders, who had that big return of the Josh Morris point-after attempt for 2 points. So Javari, one of the guests at the Rams luncheon. I'm attending those regularly now. Those are fun.
I feel like you just enjoy the meal, Jimmy.
Yeah, I did that
after
too.
the dessert pizza, I'm beginning to notice a trend.
If it's free and flowing, I'm going.
Put that on a Hallmark card.
Okay. You're right. If it's not for me, it's not for me. Ooh, Garrett Hannon almost had a block this time. The punt lands at the Rams 43 and then takes a roll, still rolling. 3 white, red clad Aggies down at the 23-yard line. So, okay field position. Not the best, not the worst. Rams down by a pair, 5:54 left in the third. Had a almost penalty-free game. Not penalty-free, but a limited amount of penalties.
If we look at the current penalty totals as of right now, OPSU 1 penalty for 5 yards, Wesleyan 2 penalties for 16 yards. So a very disciplined game, at least on the flag side of things, for both of these teams.
Absolutely. Rams with the ball now. Aggies didn't have any in that first half. Rams, as you said, with the pair. Rogers hands off, big opening hole, a shirt tackle attempt broken away by Ernie Caesar, and Caesar scoots out to the 38-yard line with a pickup of 15. Man, is he good or what? Wow.
I don't know. I think I might have to see just a tad bit more, but Caesar has pretty much had
tape?
Well, how about more than 160 yards on 11 rushes. The second half has been the Ernie Caesar show, to say the least.
Remember, in the first half, they were running Harrison and Mitchell Johnson. It's been Ernie now, 1st and 10. Handoff to, looks like Nick David West in there for the first time.
Do we have us a Nick David West sighting? Trying to see at the middle of the pile there.
Rams confused. They're looking to Fran Johnson on the near sideline for the play. And that was Harrison. I'm sorry, it was Ronnie Harrison. So we still haven't spotted the Irish product, Nick David West. But Harrison's doing okay. And AMJ, Ashton Mitchell Johnson. Of course, he got Flash Caesar. So it's 2nd and 3. Ball at the 45, center of the field. Rogers hands off, going right, breaking a tackle, breaking 2 tackles, getting into Aggies territory at the 48-yard line before he's dumped. Boy, watch it, boys. Watch it, boys. Harrison kind of kicked Zier Merrick's off of him. Just get off me. Merrick's was trying to get off him. He's like stuck on his back.
I don't know what that was.
Me either.
That was
the first down.
That was confusing indeed.
It was. To the 48, the Rams have it now. Clocked at 4 to play in the third. They trail by 2 to the Rams. Rogers drops, flushed out of the pocket, and he throws complete at the 44-yard line. Caesar gets knocked back to the 42-yard line. Boy, and that Aggies defense had the pressure on Rogers coming through. And then they got it to Caesar, but then they just really just gang tackle. They fly to the ball, like Coach said. They fly to the ball. They're aggressive. They're fast. They're athletic on defense. It's showing tonight.
Definitely showing tonight. And this is the wake-up call, I feel, no matter the score for Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You're riding high to begin the season. This is your, as you said, to begin the game, Jimmy, it's the punch to the mouth. It's the wake-up call.
Yep. So it's 2nd and 18. They have to get to the 38-yard line, do the Rams. Fake handoff to Caesar. Pass to the near side to Ronnie Schneider, and he runs into a collision at the 43-yard line. The first guy he collided with, looks like, was Kobe Hill. Flag comes down at the 43 of the Rams. Caesar goes over and shoves somebody. Is there going to be a flag after that now? Boy, Caesar went over and shoved. It's getting chippy out there, Jared.
Caesar is not happy in the slightest, and as the officials are convening at about the 45,
he shoved Charles Holmes. He shoved Charles Holmes, the defensive back. A flag had been dropped before and still lays there at the 44. Umpire, white hat, for the officials convening at the 45 of the Rams. With the loss, we still have the...
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 21. It's a 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. The down counts. It's 3rd down. It's 21's
Caesar.
First unsportsmanlike of the game.
Wow. Unsportsman at 2:54 in the third. Boy, he had a loss on the play, and then the infraction. Coach Joe is on the near sideline. He's talking to the line judge, Jeremy Hill.
I mean, where should I really even start?
Now, of course,
Now we have
for those that don't know, you can only get 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties and your evening is over. You would hate to lose your most important offensive weapon on something seemingly minuscule. But, of course, we have a field mic. It's a pretty good microphone, as you can hear, but we don't know what's being said amongst the players on the field. Probably, I'd say that's a good thing.
3rd and 20. He shoved Holmes. Holmes like he's picking up his mouthpiece. Remember he had trouble with the mouthpiece earlier, and they hand off on 3rd and a bundle. And the Rams go out to the 49-yard line. Harrison on the run with a short game. So Daniel Trejo, the former Longhorn, Machete, comes in to do the punting for the Rams. Wow, that was
an interesting drive, wasn't it?
It was a weird drive.
That was a drive from the crypt, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's why they can keep it. There was a lot of crypt on that thing, that's for sure. Trejo with heat gets it off. He kicks a nice high ball. And fair caught at the 16-yard line, doing a little toe dance out of bounds with it, goes Partita. So bad field position. Good kick by Daniel Trejo. Well, I love that kid. This 2 weeks ago before Otto at the luncheon. I sat down with him, did a nice little interview talk with him, and he just talks and talks and talks. He's a hard worker. He doesn't have any hobbies. I said, so what do you like to do? You play an instrument? What's your favorite food? Do you have any hobbies? He says, no, I just work. And Coach Joe had said, too, that he doesn't spend any time standing around. He's always doing something, always working, kicking, working out, getting better. He's got a good leg.
Well, how about this? There was an Aggie a bit cramped up on the far side, and Colby Adams for the Rams going over, kind of playing trainer, helping out the banged-up Aggie.
I didn't see that.
How about that? And they say chivalry's dead.
Especially after an unsportsmanlike conduct on the Rams.
I feel like that could probably negate the penalty. All is back well and balanced.
Yeah, exactly. I'd take away that last penalty, give us the 15 yards on that.
Well, you can give those yards back.
Yep.
Or can we bank the yards? Put it in a trust fund, a yards fund.
And then we can get credit for it when we do something good. We can take it back.
Get a receipt for those.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask the SID, James McBride, if he has a receipt on those 15 yards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, call in the receipt. Get your receipts.
Have 30 days until it's voided. 30 plays, I guess you could say.
Just a few ticks under 2 to play here in the third. It's 16-14 Aggies. The Rams are tied at 3, and they have never led in this thing. So Stevens now with a slot left, back to his left, fake handoff, a lot of time. He throws it over the middle and gunning for the big one. Good coverage at the 48-yard line. That was intended for Acosta. Josh Morris with good coverage. He's the one who blocked that kick. He's from Benedictine College, Kansas. A redshirt junior is Josh.
A lot of Texas representation on this OPSU roster.
Yes,
we have
sir.
a little Kennedale, plenty from Dallas and Fort Worth, and even some East Texas. Carthage, Marshall, Kilgore, Tatum, the same Tatum Eagles we saw last night on the Antler Sports Network. So OPSU, plenty of Texas blood on the roster.
And a lot of those, as you said, out your way there in East Texas.
The old Piney Woods.
Beautiful area. I can just smell it now. And passing complete at the 32. I smell the pine trees. No offense against East Texas. I said earlier I'm a tree lover. And when I think of Piney Woods, I think of the trees. I love that smell of Piney Woods.
Well, one thing about East Texas, I'll tell you, we got plenty of trees.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And they all smell great, too.
There's two things you can guarantee in East Texas. That's a Whataburger within 200 feet and a tree within 2 feet.
That's it. That's fine with me. At the 16 now still, 3rd and 10. Big third down here with $1:44 left in the third. Aggies with the ball, the lead of 16-14. Man runs in motion. Stevens a clap of the hands. 3-yard drop, runs out of the pocket, and he can't get away at the 10-yard line. He is pulled down. A loss of 7 back to the 10. A Shally cannon. Shot through like a cannonball.
And rolled Sanders through. Did a great job of staying with him as we look at another angle here. Man, it's been a tough third quarter for Stevens, especially outside of the pocket. The Rams have him right where they want him on defense.
We're standing deep in his end zone as Garrett Hannon with another punt forthcoming from the junior. Back at the 50. Now stepping a yard back into his own territory at the 49 and bounces at the 43 and takes a Aggie roll, still rolling to the other 43. So it bounced at their 43 and they down at the Rams 43.
Jimmy, I'll have to be honest. I thought it was going to be a roughing the kicker flag on the
I saw you gyrating
side.
over there at the corner of my eye.
I thought it was going to be a roughing the kicker, but
I thought you were signaling for a fair catch.
Oh no, I don't think we've seen a fair catch all game long.
No, we haven't. So that's what you were motioning. Really? Did anybody get to him? I didn't see that.
Multiple. He spun around a couple seconds or a couple moments after the ball was cascading through the air. But a flag did not go through the air.
Last minute of the third. Rams down by a pair with the ball at their own 43-yard line. 1st and 10, far hash. Rodgers handoff. And looking was a good vision. He waits like a lot of the great runners, Emmitt Smith, Zeke Elliott. A lot of the great runners, they just look. They wait for their blocks, and then they see a hole. He looked and he looked and he looked, didn't see too much of a hole as he only gained a couple.
The only thing he saw was T.K. Woodson. Woodson has been an absolute menace on the defensive front for OPSU. As we try to get his defensive totals here, that was his 3rd tackle of the game. Already has 1 TFL as well.
Yeah, they had like 5 of those in that first half. Here's Caesar, inside handoff, breaking and going down at the 39-yard line. Nice run of 17 for Ernie Flash Caesar. Wow, he's just so good. 3 seconds left here in the third.
Seemed like we have another Aggie cramped up at around the 50. He is.
Hey, boy, he took his helmet off, and he's in pain. Did they hydrate enough?
I don't know, but definitely have to turn the field microphone down for a second. We'll keep it at that. He is definitely in pain.
He is. You want to grab a quick break here? Or you want to keep it till they're stretching his leg out now? Is that Millsap?
I believe that is Millsap.
And he gets up. Yeah, it was another cramp. Or Charlie horse. God, I hated it. That was those. Did you ever get those?
Too many.
Oh.
As someone that used to play basketball,
yeah,
trust me, that was almost nightly occurrence at the worst possible times.
Would you play? Were you a power forward?
I was a center, believe it.
You were a center.
A very undersized
you're
center.
Long. Yeah, probably jump. Could you stuff?
I could definitely.
I could, believe it or not, stuff, but only with a volleyball because my hands weren't big enough to grab a basketball.
Well, that's
why I could start like at half court and then run, and then from the free throw line, because I have long arms. That's what made me a good first baseman when I was playing baseball, because I had like spider arms. I have a nice vertical reach and I can reach high. Keeping it here. Let's grab a break. That's the end of the third period. Of course, let's go to the fourth. Aggies leading the Rams, 16-14. Rams football will continue on the Antler Sports Network.
Shaky and Tyler were tough, never quits.
Welcome back to Crowley ISD, this beautiful stadium here, which is just about a year old. I know Crowley High School played, I think, their third or fourth game of the season in this brand new stadium, so it's coming up on a year old. First year for Texas Wesleyan, starting the fourth period. Wesleyan down. They've never led they did lead 3-0. There was 3-3. They were down 10-3, 10-6, 16-6, 16-8, now 16-14 as we start the fourth period. 1st and 10, Caesar on the run, and he picks up a short gain of a couple yards to the 7-yard line.
Quick score update out of Tyler for Christus Trinity Mother Francis Rose Stadium. I believe we indeed have a final score. Ottawa, Arizona getting the dominating win over Texas College, 62-14.
62-14. So Texas College gets 2 touchdowns. Handoff right side. A nice move by Harrison. Gets to the outside of the 20. And then he breaks a tackle. And he finally gets shoved out at the 8-yard line on the far side. Boy, a nice run of 31 yards by Vernon Harrison, who's been in there. I don't know what's wrong with Nick David West. We haven't seen him tonight. We've seen, of course, Ernie Caesar, who ran for 193 yards so far after 3 periods on 14 carries. That's a 13.8 average. And then no Nick David West, but a lot of A&J and Harrison now, too. That's a beautiful run.
I like how the Rams have that yin and yang going with Caesar. You have Nick David West. You have Harrison, who's definitely had a fantastic game. You have Mitchell Johnson. Plenty of versatility at the running back spot.
1st and goal at the 8 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hang 6. Guess who? Ernie Flash Caesar flashes into the end zone to the left. Puts the Rams up now 20-16. Just underway here in the 4th. 13:35 left in it.
Right on cue, Ernie Caesar yet again using his agility, using his patience to just trot his way into the end zone almost untouched.
Do they go for 2 now, or?
Looks like Rogers back on the field. They might be going for 2.
Yep. They're up by 4. Rogers now lining up. He has a slot right. 2 receivers near side. He drops and he pulls it in and just walks into the end zone, dives into the end zone. He was kind of loping in, and then he put his head down and dove across. A 2-point conversion by Rogers. Carson makes it 22-16. Rams with 13:35 left.
But there is a penalty flag down in the end zone. As you look at the replay here, try to find the possible offense. Rogers did a great job of letting the pocket develop and rolling into the end zone. I'd hate to see if this flag.
Try is good. After the play is over, personal foul on Mr. Rusmus, defense, number 7. That 15-yard penalty will be forced on the kickoff.
Wow. That's costly, too. You don't want to get 15-yard negative penalties when you go down by 6. Let's grab a break. 13:35 left in the 4th. Rams go up 22-16 over the Aggies as Rams football will continue on the Antler Sports Network.
Key and Tyler were tough, never quits.
Rams kick off from midfield after scoring that touchdown, the 2-point conversion to get a 22-16 lead, and the kickoff comes down to the 6-yard line, and Acosta works his way out not much farther than that to the 10-yard line, so that's where the Aggies will play it in, and that's what you get for the unsportsmanlike conduct or the roughing penalty. It was against the Aggies after the Rams touchdown. Rams got to kick off from the 50.
Well, that's good old-fashioned actions turning into consequences there. If you're OPSU, that's the last thing you want. making their offensive possessions that much tougher, especially now that Wesleyan seems to have found their stride on offense. So the last thing you need is when you step on your own feet and make things harder than they need to be.
Rams at the end of 3 had 280 yards total, 258 of that on the ground, and total yards 140, 119 on the ground for the visitors from Panhandle State. Stevens, fake handoff and throws incomplete. A little quick slant at the 16-yard line.
Pass goes incomplete, brings up second down.
Spartita couldn't hang on to it. Boy. I say boy a lot. Boy. Man. Boy. So coming back into the fray is Acosta as a wide receiver. He's going to split to the right. They have two receivers to the far side. 2nd and 10 and a whistle before the snap comes. Did they not get the false start? So, boy, the penalty bug now hitting the Aggies. You can just see this is like a completely different team than the first half.
And if you're Wesleyan, you got to smell the blood in the water, and you have to take advantage quickly. You don't want this Aggie team to get back into this game.
Now they're back to the 5, their own 5, 2nd and 15 of the Aggies, down by 6. There's a handoff play, and that gets not much. It loses 2 yards back to the 3. They ran it off the right side. Partita comes out of his helmet, head still on his shoulders.
One thing you don't want, if you're a visiting team, you've already been on a bus for 7 hours, the last thing you need is a bunch of cowbells ringing in your ear as you can feel the momentum shift. The tension is high, you can almost cut it with a spoon. Not a knife, how about a spoon?
A dull spoon.
Very dull spoon. Dare I say napkin, if we're keeping with the utensils.
About 4 yards deep in the end zone is Stevens for the Aggies. Pulls it in as he caught the safety and gets rid of it. Is that intentional grounding, though? It was a one-bounce, picked up incomplete pass. Thought maybe it might have been a lateral there. Boy, that was darn near a safety as they want the over-the-head hand praying sign. They want the safety sign.
But take a look at the replay here as I get another view of it. That's tough to gauge. That is extremely tough to gauge.
Sir Hill kept going safety, but boy, the Rams just, speaking of smelling blood in the water, wow.
What a defensive stop.
Yeah.
That could be stop of the night for Wesleyan, no matter the result of the game.
It's like this team is together. You know, the offense isn't clicking too much except for the running game, but then the defense says, oh, it's okay, we got your back, and they've been stellar. Boy, Hannon, a couple yards from the end zone, short kick out to the 33. Bob has it, makes some nice moves, gets to the 27 before he's decked, and the flag comes down there.
It seemed like the flag bug has bitten once again as we try to take a look at some scores from across the Sooner Athletic Conference. Third quarter with 6:47 left. Louisiana Christian over Langston 28-9.
Wow.
Welland Baptist falls on the road to Solo Ross State by a score of 27-7.
Return team number 34. 15-yard penalty. First down, Texas Wesleyan.
Blindside block on the return team. So they're moving to the right, are both teams. They'll mark it off from the 28, and that's a biggie of 15 yards. They'll go out to the 40.
Final intra-conference game that we're trying to get a score for is SAG-U and Arkansas Baptist, but no report out of Waxahachie. Excuse me, out of Little Rock, Arkansas.
The cheerleaders are under the direction of Coach Terrence Davis. Another big hand for all.
So the Rams, despite the penalty, have real good field position. They're at the Aggies 42 now, 12:34 left here in the fourth. Rams up by 6. Somebody jumped along the line. Flag comes down, probably a free play for Carson Rogers, and throws it incomplete. Intended right below us to TJ Curtis. Probably get 5 for encroachment.
Ram pass goes incomplete. Flag on the play.
Referee Bannerman.
Offside. Defense. Number 0. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So they get the first down via the penalty. They'll walk it to the 37-yard line. Rams first down and 10. It's been a weird game. Good game, though.
Been a very awkward game. The first half was pretty much Wesleyan trying to gather themselves together. Now the second half has just been them trying to play catch-up almost.
Handoff to Ernie Caesar, running parallel along the line of 37. Gets it blocked, turns the corner, spins at the 20, and then is hammered from front and back. Down he goes at the 18-yard line.
On the carry for the Rams, Ernie Caesar.
Gain of 24 yards. Boy, what a run.
Ernie Caesar does it again. The stiff arm, then the ankle break, takes a big hit.
Wow.
That's an Ernie Caesar run if I've ever seen one, Jimmy.
He's just spectacular. Call him Flash for a reason. He shows it right there. He says, get out of my way. I'm going to run here. And then he got flung around. He missed that tackle, missed the fling around, and he got hammered. So first and 10 from the 18 of the Aggies of the Rams, trying to go up by more than 6. Harrison cuts back in and gets dropped at the 13-yard line after a gain of few. Harrison's having a good game.
Harrison's had a fantastic game so far. After that last run, getting a quick look at his numbers on the evening, Harrison already 8 rushes for 78 yards, averaging almost 10 yards a carry.
Wow.
How about that?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, boy, they're grinding him on the ground. And hats off to that meat wagon front 5 for the Rams, their offensive line. Harrison shreds a tackle away and swats him away and gets to the pylon. Did he get in? There's a flag comes down, thrown at the goal line.
If you look at Rogers, Carson Rogers, the quarterback, signaling all we probably need to know, this could be against the Rams.
Yeah, they mark it at the 1, so Harrison was a yard short, a pickup of 11, but like Jared said, this could be coming back.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense.
Oh.
Half the distance. First down.
So that means he didn't get in.
No, he went to the 1, so he goes to the half.
Wow.
First goal at the half.
I thought he crossed the plane.
Now, he hit the pylon there, and I think it was... He went out, though, before he hit the pylons. We see it again.
Oh, I don't know, Jimmy.
I don't know. That right foot, I want to see that one again. Anyway, it's a first and goal from the half-yard line and diving in on the tush-push.
Flag again.
Yeah, I see that up at the 2. No signal yet.
Flag on the play.
OPSU came out of the bottom of the line with a football, but he's in.
Millsap is holding the ball up. See what this is.
Salted plays a touchdown.
Okay.
Defense.
Oh. So it is a TD. 10:47 remaining in the 4th. It's been all Rams since that blocked 2-point conversion. As they go up now further. The 28-16 lead after the Rogers. We'll give them 1 yard since it was a half yard. The 1 yard run.
We'll round it up. What was it? 5 or more rates to score, 4 or less, let it rest, or something like that.
Yeah.
See, I remembered something from school.
So they're going for 2 again, are the Rams. Rogers out of the gun, hands it off, and Caesar runs into resistance and puts his head down, but 5, 6 white shirts there led by Dickerson, their really good linebacker. He pulled him back. He had help from other Aggies. So they fail on the 2-point conversion. It's 28-16 Rams. With 10:47 left here in the first, 2-point conversion fail. Let's grab a break. We'll be back to CISD, Crowley ISD Stadium. After this, Rams football on the Antler Sports Network. 10:47 remaining here in Crowley. Jimmy DeSaints, Jared Jones, 28-16 Rams. It's been all Rams. Scored the last 3 times. Blodgett drills it, and another long kick, and halfway into the end zone it goes here at beautiful CISD Stadium.
That last play, 6 plays, 48 yards, 1 minute and 56 seconds. It's like the Rams' drives get shorter and shorter.
Wow. Yeah, they, like I say, I keep going back to that blocked PAT by Morris, and then Sanders returned it for 2 points. That made it 16-8 Aggies, and that was right at the end of the first half. But then this second half, the third quarter, Caesar, big run. Caesar, an 8-yard run, and Rogers with the 1-yard push in from the end zone. So.
Well, Jimmy, you know what also helps when Ernie Caesar has 17 rushes for 222 yards.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt at all. Oh, and Stevens had a man on the far side at the 48, but he just overthrew him. That was Acosta again. So it's 2nd and 10. Wasn't a bad throw. He almost had him. Just overthrew him a tad. It was 2-on-2 again, number-wise. Josh Morris out there defending on Acosta. So 2nd and 10, 10:41, ball at the far hash. 2 split to the near side, 1 to the short side, the far side. Handoff and getting cut down for a 2-yard loss. Navis, as if he wasn't down enough. A couple Rams came in and said, well, we're going to make sure that you, Mr. Pardita, are down. No, correct that. It's not Pardita. It was Miles Ratliff. That's right. He was like their Thunder and Thunder running back. First time we've seen him run tonight.
Ratliff, that's actually his 5th rush. You might not remember because he's doesn't have a positive yard total in terms of overall yardage. The Rams have pretty much kept him in check most of this game.
Yeah, Coach Joe said that the running backs for them were Thunder and Thunder. Well, they've contained one Thunder, and the other one is barely a rumble. Going out is Stevens. He gets run out here at the near sideline. He's out of bounds at the 27-yard line after a gain of a couple. 4th and 8. We'll see Hannon again, their punter. He's becoming a familiar sight for the Aggies.
Not a familiar sight that you want to see. When it felt like just mere moments ago, the Aggies had all the momentum in the world.
Yep, it doesn't it though? Boy.
And that man right there, Ernie Caesar, is solely responsible for the tide of this game flipping.
Yeah, he sure is. That's why they call him Flash. As Hannon stands at his 13. Bob to receive at the Rams' 37. Hannon gets it off and bounces at the 47. Goes by Bob and keeps a roll. They've got a lot of rolls.
Texas Roadhouse will be proud.
To the 26-yard line. That was funny because the guy on special teams, Tack Brewer, was kind of waving along, kicking along, kicking along, trying to get it to go a little bit farther. And it goes out at the 26. So that's where the Aggies will put it in play.
Seems like we have an injured Aggie on the other side of the field.
I should say the Rams will put it in play. We do. Grab a break with 9:08 left in the 4th. It's been all Rams. They're up 28-16 over the Aggies. More Rams football on the Antler Sports Network coming up.
Everything. And Pelshanky and Tyler were tough, never quits. Give it everything. And Pelshay, Kia, and Tyler were tough, never quits.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence to buy with us.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Welcome back to Crowley ISD here on the Antler Sports Network. We've had a long injury delay for a Panhandle State player. And we're back, and the Rams will put it in play with a 28-16 lead. Rams came out early in the game with a field goal. They were up 3-0. They was tied at 3, and then they fell behind 10-3, 10-6, 16-6, 16-8. And that's when they blocked point after touchdown by Josh Morris of the Rams turned into Javari Sanders' big return of 65 yards. Then an Ernie Caesar run play of 73, 8-yard Caesar run in the fourth, and a Carson Rogers 1-yard dive into the end zone. That's where we stand now, 22-16. Rams with the lead, with the ball. 9:08 to play as we resume here in the fourth quarter. As a handoff, and Caesar gets flung back to the 21, and he lost.
Ernie Caesar on the carry for the Rams.
He lost way back to the 23-yard line, so he loses 3. It's 2nd and 13. Clock moving down to 8:45 here in the fourth. Carson Rogers with Caesar to his left. They're in no hurry, waiting for the play clock to go to 10 now. Now they're set, and another jump. There's a flag, free play. Oh, Bob with just a spectacular grab at the 46-yard line, a one-hander by Mr. Magnet Hands, A.J. Bob. And good coverage, or they say he caught it. The offside penalty gave him a free play, and good coverage. Boy, he was covered nicely by Cameron Dickerson. A.J. Bob to the 46.
Dare we say play of the night.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wowza. Man alive, Clive.
Shout out to our PA announcer, Mr. Gino. That deserves a chicken sandwich right there. Goodness.
It does. Rams at the 46 now, and a complete pass to the Aggies' 26-yard line. A nice rollover catch made. Michael Dante on the grab. The young Rams who played last week in the blowout win over North American getting more playing time now. Not that this is a blowout, as Bob goes split to the far side. Near side receiver. 1st and 10 Rams at the 26-yard line. They have a 28-16 lead, 7.5 to play here in the fourth. Slot right, back to the right, handoff at Caesar. Caesar gets a couple yards to the 29-yard line before he's stopped. Stop made by Alejandro Holquin and Cameron Dickerson again. Boy, he's their leading tackler coming in his career, and he had a big game against Wayland last week with 10 tackles. He had 75 solo, 22 TFL, 7 sacks in his career.
If you're OPSU right now, you're teetering on the edge of pressing the panic button. Your hand is over the button, but you're not pressing it down just yet. I see you doing a great invitation here, but the Rams are good at running the football, and that means running out clock. You need to get a stop.
And Harrison runs to the 19-yard line where he's stopped 3 yards short. Nice lower body tackle employed.
Stop is made by Catino Ria.
Don't know if I had him on my roster. Yeah, I do. Cantino Rea on the stop. Shows a different number than I had on what was their final roster, which you never can trust. There's always one that's not correct. So it's 3rd and 3 for the Rams. 6:06 to play in the 4th. Caesar runs around. Boy, how does he just loops around? He gets away, but he loses to the 21. So it'll be 4th down and call it 5 as he loses a couple. 4th and 4 they're going to call it.
Stop made by the Aggies, Amari Millsap.
Millsap on the tackle. We've been calling his name like that. He had a really good first half, as did Dickerson and Holquin, and Green had a pretty good first half.
Millsap was a bit shaken up earlier in the game. Seems that he's already back in regular form.
Jazir Merrick's had 12 tackles at the end of 3.
Now this is interesting. 4, almost 10 seconds, set up the field goal unit. They get it off in time. But did he get the field goal? Yes.
Yes, he did. A 38-yarder punched through by Garrett Blodgett. So Blodgett, with 5:12 left here, and the waning minutes left in here in the 4th. 31-16, and a close game now is suddenly becoming, I don't want to call it a rout, but a nice sizable lead for the Rams. Let's grab a break. We'll be back. 5:12 left in the 4th. Rams up their lead 31-16. Rams football will continue on the Antler Sports Network.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence.
Welcome back to Crowley. Jimmy the Saint, Jared Jones here on the Antler Sports Network. Garrett Blodgett drills it, as he usually does, into the end zone and out of the back end zone here at Crowley. 31-16 Rams, 5:12 left in the 4th. Aggies ball.
Now, of course, if most of you may be aware, our viewers may be aware, this is the second game of the evening. Earlier back in Tyler on ASN 1, Texas College fell to 22nd-ranked Ottawa of Arizona. And fun fact about the Antler Sports Network, Jimmy, Texas College holds the record for the most viewed game in Antler Sports Network history. Last season, their home conference opener against Louisiana Christian got almost 50,000 viewers.
50.
Almost 50.
50,000.
Indeed.
Wow.
And as of right now, the game that just concluded between Texas College and Ottawa is sitting at 1.1 thousand views. That game went final about 30 minutes ago. So kudos to Steer and Spirit Nation.
Yeah, Steer faithful, definitely. Tip of the halo to them. And, boy, tip of the halo to the Rams defenses. They wrap up Stevens. They drop him back to the 14-yard line. The loss of 16. Joe Thomas comes shooting through. Rams fans enjoying that play as we see it on the big board here at Crowley.
We got a flag at about the 33-yard line. Penalty flag called against the Rams.
So that negates the big sack and give the Aggies their first down to the 35, their own 35, under 5 to play here in the 4th. Rams on top now by 15, looking to go 3-0. Loss would drop the Aggies to 1-2. They have it at the far hash at 35. Pair of receivers near, one to the far side. Stevens with the 3-step drop. Throws it over the middle and hit the official, hit the umpire. Ooh.
I got a replay.
Yeah,
all ready to take a look at it here.
David Lott took a shot. That hit the ump, didn't it?
I don't know. Looking at it a second time, either it was a great move by the official or he just got a laser possible slant route straight to the hip.
I know. I looked up and he looks like Reggie Jackson in the 77 World Series when Bill Russell stepped on second, was going to throw, and Reggie Jackson's moved his hip out of the base pad. Caused a lot of controversy, and Tomlin was sort of to come out and drop F-bombs and argue. 31-16 Rams, 4:44. Aggies with the ball. A nice rifle shot over to the 48-yard line, complete for the Aggies. Ball completed to Jesus Rodriguez.
Well, that ball didn't hit a ref.
No, it
I'll tell you
didn't.
that.
I didn't get to see that on the big board. So the Aggies pick up first down to their 47. Out of the gun, Stevens throws complete at the 49-yard line to Miles Ratliff. And he's wrapped up immediately. Sincere Blackman, my favorite names. One of my favorite Rams, too, in that secondary. 2nd and 7. Under 4 to play here in the 4th. Stevens, rush out of the pocket, goes across the 50. Ball pops out. It's loose. Do the Rams get it at the 49? I think they did. Picking up and running out of the stack with it after the squirt out. And the Rams come away with it. Another big turnover. It's Archie Williams, A-Dub from Bethel University, Tennessee. Graduate player. Been around for a while. One of my favorite Rams on that defensive line. Archie with the turnover.
Another big-time turnover
Yes,
for
sir.
either of these teams. That's pretty much been the biggest factor as the game goes on. Who comes up with the turnovers? At what point do they happen? And who do they benefit? Past couple turnovers were in favor of the Aggies, but now with 3:44 left to go, that could be the final nail in the coffin.
Yes, indeed, JJ. People call you that?
Too many times.
Okay.
If I had $1.
Do you prefer it, or
I'm a man of many nicknames. Moose,
would you like to
JJ,
reveal some of
J-Rock.
them so I don't call you JJ?
Well, Moose, JJ, J-Rock.
Oh, that's right, Moose. That's
Multiple.
right. And that's how I got Antler Sports Network. Okay, Moose. I like Moose. Not that I don't like JJ, but Moose is better.
Well, I appreciate it, Jimmy.
Moose Jones. Caesar with the run. What is he, like 500 yards now?
I'd say about 7. I don't know.
To the 48. He loses one, so take one away from Flash.
After that latest rush, currently he's sitting at 21 rushes for 220 yards.
Wow.
Averaging 10.5 yards a carry. His longest was 73. Vernon Harrison about halfway there. Literally halfway there. 11 rushes, 100 yards.
Yeah.
Longest for him was 29.
Boy, Carson Rogers on a 2nd and 9 handoff, and Caesar goes down. He's doing some juking and jiving. He goes to the 43-yard line, and he just ducks under the tackle as he's decked by Cameron Dickerson right near the Rams bench on the near sideline.
One thing I like to point out, especially nowadays with a lot of younger viewers and aspiring running backs watching, one thing I love to see about both Caesar and Harrison tonight is that when they try to juke or make their move, they're not going backwards or side to side. They're going directly in front of them, eating up yards, staying in open space, no matter if their move is on a defender, close to one, or in Ernie's case, on top of a defender.
Curtis split to the far side for the Rams. A receiver to the near side slot right. They show blitz to the Aggies. Harrison running right. He's been running a lot tonight as he gains a yard before he's rolled over. 2 minutes to go here in the 4th. Rams look like they're going to hang on for their 3rd victory of the season. Didn't look like that in the first half, though.
You have to admit, if you were any of the Rams faithful, no matter how committed or close you are to this team, you had to kind of bite your fingernails a tad bit. It was a rough start for Texas Wesleyan, but thankfully they were able to bring things back together after the halftime break, and OPSU seemed like they just ran out of gas.
Yeah, they did. You're right. And again, I think the balloon kind of was deflated with that blocked point after 2 points that the Rams did, the block by Morris on their extra point attempt. And the big return.
4th down.
Delay a penalty called against the Rams.
So that'll move her back, make it 4th and 9. As we'll see. Guy with 0 on the back of that powder blue top in white with the gold bottoms, Mr. Daniel Trejo, the former Longhorn. Machete is his nickname. Machete gets into it, boots it high into the air. Boy, he's got a great leg, doesn't he? Wow. I'd like to see him try out for a pro team or D1 school.
Really just anywhere. He definitely has the leg for it, to say the least.
Yeah, he does. He's a good kid, too. He's a hard worker. Good experience down in Austin. Comes back to his hometown. Now playing for the Rams and Holden. And he'd be a threat, too, on holds, for fakes and whatever.
Perfect time to plug our next broadcast of Rams football here on the Antler Sports Network. As of right now, it's fair to say this might be a ranked matchup depending on if St. Thomas, their result this past weekend, as the Rams take on the Bobcats of St. Thomas coming out of Florida. That game, pregame, will be at 11:30 Central, kickoff at noon on ASN2, the home of Ram Athletics.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And for the Aggie fans, they will return home and play Arkansas Baptist College next Saturday. It's a 6 o'clock game up in Oklahoma. Miles Ratliff, who's seeing more runs now. As you said, he had like his first 4 or 5 runs and didn't net any yardage. Didn't get much on that. He got 7, so it's 2nd and 3. Under a minute to play. They're just going to run out the clock. Nobody in any hurry to stop the clock. Rams have been in control now since they went ahead 22-16, all here in the 4th, and they led 28-16 and 31-16. That should be our final here in 30 seconds. Stevens hands off to Ratliff. He spins out short of the line of scrimmage. They'll drive him back, and they'll mark his progress for a loss of 1.
After tonight's game, Texas Wesleyan University thanks you for your cooperation.
So the Rams 8-7, 6-5, 4-3, 2-1. We'll have the final gun here. They go up 31-16 with the win to a 3-0 record. Aggies drop to 1-2. Couple players on each side exchanging hugs and shakes. And now they go in the long line where they all exchange the midfield handshakes. So the Rams win it 31-16 on the Antler Sports Network. We'll have our postgame show coming up here in the shake. Final from CISD. Rams beats the Panhandle State University Aggies 31-16.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence to buy with us.
Rams football on the Antler Sports Network with our post-game show. It's a happy post-game for the Texas Wesleyan Rams. They up the record to 3-0. They defeat the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies 31-16. Jared Jones, or Moose as we call you now. It's one of your many nicknames. I don't know what the other ones are, but Moose is good. We'll go with Moose. I have to get a moose horn or moose signal for you. So the Rams were behind 3-0. They took a lead, of 3-0 on a Blodgett field goal early. Then it was tied at 3. Then they were behind 10-3. And they're behind 16-6, 16-8. And then I don't know if it was a changing play of the game, but the block PAT by the Aggies, by Josh Morris, and then the Javari Sanders big return on the block. So that gave him 2 points and made it 16-8 Aggies on that particular play. And that was at the end of the first half. And in the second half, Jared, it was just all Rams. They were down, cut the gap to 16-14 on the big Ernie Caesar 73-yard run by Flash, who ended up with, 224 yards. And then an 8-yard Caesar run made it 22-16. They failed on both those Caesar runs on 2-point conversions. Then Rogers ran it in from 1 yard out, and they scored the 2-pointer on that one, and then a field goal by Blodgett with 5:12 left in the fourth. That was our final, 31-16. Rams win if they go 3-0.
Well, thankfully, seems like we have our own James McBride on the sideline getting ready to speak with either Coach Joe Prudhomme or our player of the game. That player, of course, I don't think there was too much doubt in anyone's mind, that being the running back for the Rams, Ernie Caesar. 22 rushes, 224 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's just a great day all around for him.
He's definitely our player of the game. We've got to pick somebody here on defense, which we will as we look over the defensive stats. And a balance as far as tacklers go. I like Deshaun Cannon, though. He had 7 tackles. He had a sack. He had 2 TFLs, a forced fumble. So should we give it to
I agree.
Deshaun Cannon?
Motion carried.
Okay, good. So Cannon is our defensive player of the game. Let's grab a break. We'll be back with more of the postgame show. Rams win 31-16 here from Crowley. Rams football on the Antler Sports Network. Postgame show continues.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Here on the post-game show, after the big-time Rams win by a score of the Rams 31, OPSU 16. And down on the field, our own James McBride has the player of the game on the offensive side of the ball, Ernie Caesar. James, take it away.
Thanks, Jared. I got Ernie back here about to give his gloves away. Let's see who's going to give his gloves away for the player of the game here.
So not only the player of the game on the field, but player of the game off the field, huh, Jimmy?
Ernie, I got the live here.
Yeah, he's got those gloves. He can
I don't know.
Don't sell them on eBay.
Oh, give me a second. He's going to be just a second. Here he comes.
I don't know. How much do you think some Ernie Caesar gloves would be worth on eBay?
It's a good
I can
question.
tell you, he didn't sign them. They've got a little of his DNA on there.
All right, well, he's got to sign them for me to be worth
more, right?
He's got to sign them to be
All
worth
right, Ernie,
something,
let's
more
start
Jimmy.
off. I just told you, 22 rushes, 224 yards. Let's just talk about your rushing performance you had tonight. Seemed like you had a lot of patience behind the line.
Yeah, I just we have Christian Mahan on the as a tight end spot, so that made me it's basically 6 linemen on the field. So I'm basically just trying to see what's gonna happen. And then they came out in like a 3-3 stack, so it was very weird in our first time facing it. So I just had to be patient and let my guys let the big guys do what they do up front, and then I was just gonna be me.
So what would you say the major adjustments y'all made from the first half to the second half were that really catapulted you?
Like I said, we didn't really know what they were gonna come out in. So the first half was really just all week. Coach said we really don't know. We really just going off what they did last year, and sometimes. But I feel like the adjustment was that we knew what we was getting this year. I mean, the second half, and when we knew what we was getting, we was able to roll it through and just dominate. And it also been with Coach Pete getting on us in the locker room too. Coach Pete too.
We got a big game coming up next week. Top 25 matchup here. It's going to be kicking off at noon. What are you looking forward to with that?
I'm just looking forward to see I'm ready to look and see what we're gonna do towards. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself, but the playoff area, this would be a good look and see how we are. Just with another good team in the NAIA that's not in our conference. So I'm really ready for the game. And there's gonna be 2 All-Americans running back facing off, and we should see what happens.
Guys, so y'all got any booth questions up there for Ernie?
Jimmy, you got anything?
Ernie, Flash is your nickname. What makes you a Flash?
They made me the Flash is just my get off speed. I have one of the best get off speed, so the way I just sprint out. The first one I didn't really trust in my speed, and it was my fault. Coach kept brought me to the side and be like, "You just reminded me of my name," and after that I was just really just sprinting.
Hey, how do you make all those moves? I mean, you're shaking and baking. You're making like 15 moves within a couple seconds. How do you do that?
It's just a reaction. I'm basically a human joystick, so I just be pushing buttons. Oh, X.
And how about the offensive line, Ernie? I mean, you got All-Americans left and right, and they're just they seem to be better and better. I mean, even over last year, it just seems like they're spectacular.
Yes, sir. The thing about them guys is they all connected real well, and if your O-line all bond well, then it's gonna be hard to stop. And then another thing is they all just want to see me be great. So I feel like I feed off of them and they feed off me. They know if they get their block just a little, then they can see me work. And I know if they get their block, I can read off of it and just go.
Hey, how about Vernon Harrison tonight? He almost looked like a Flash Junior. What do you think?
Yeah. So that's our freshman. That's my freshman. I love that guy. I love that guy. He have the potential. So I love every day with him. I work with him every day. I just love what he came with. I just love everything he do.
Well, go celebrate this one for 24, 36 hours and get ready for a big one next week. Thanks, Ernie.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, let me see if I can get Rogers over here real quick. All right, hold on.
James going to get Carson Rogers. Let's just wait for Joe, should we?
Yeah, let's wait for. Hopefully we'll.
Oh, he just caught up with Rogers.
Seemed like he.
Runner-up for sack player of the week last week. Are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
You there, Jimmy?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. Are you ready? Do you have any questions for Carson?
Carson, a little bit off tonight compared to last week. Were you a little jittery, or were we just off tonight?
No, they did a lot of different stuff. Good team came out. But our game plan was to run the football, and I feel like we did that. Some nights you're not always clicking, but I think as a whole unit we picked it up and found our groove in the second half.
How much credit do you give to that offensive line, not only for protecting you, but for opening the holes for Flash and for Harrison and AMJ and all those guys?
We're still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Can you hear
me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so how much credit do you give to the offensive line? I mean, they keep you clean, and they open up all those big holes for the running game.
Oh, all the credit. Man, they're great. Those guys come in every day, give their best. They work their butt off, and no, I'm so proud of those guys. They couldn't stop our running game tonight. They couldn't get back to me in the backfield. It was just complete dominant performance by those guys up front.
Carson, go celebrate this one. Have a good week of practice. Got a big one coming up next week. We'll talk to you then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Adios.
Jimmy, you give me about 3 or 4. I should have Joe on too.
Sounds like a plan, James. Thanks. So we'll have Coach Joe coming up here in a shake, about 3 or 4 minutes on the Antler Sports Network postgame show. Rams win it tonight, beating Oklahoma Panhandle State 31-16. More Rams football on the Antler Sports Network postgame show coming up.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Welcome back to the Rams postgame show on the Antler Sports Network. Rams defeat the Aggies of OPSU tonight, 31-16. James McBride is with Coach Joe.
Joe, you just want to talk about the game, a little bit about the game?
Yeah, I mean, we walked out and into a team that was really ready to play, determined to play. And, I mean, frankly, we got punched right in the face. And they outplayed us in the first half, had a great game plan, executed it very, very well. We were a little sluggish, hard to get started, fell behind. But once we blocked the extra point and took it back for the 2-point conversion, we scored 25 straight. And, you know, our special teams sparked us, and they really carried us tonight. Vernon grew up tonight, Vernon Harrison. You know, I thought that Kobe had a really strong night, Dalen Rogers, and the O-line adjusted well in the second half. We started creating some creases.
Seems like third quarter was a big quarter for you guys tonight. What was the major you made from the first half to the second half that made that?
There weren't a lot of scheme changes. There's just play. Do what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it. And we made a few line adjustments to run the ball a little bit better, to create some better matchups. And that seemed to work really well.
And Ernie Caesar, 22 carries, 224 yards. You just want to talk about how valuable he is to you.
Yeah. Ernie's awesome. Ernie is a big part of what we do. I mean, he is. He's electric. And he doesn't go down, and then you can't find him, and he's so strong. He was really sluggish in the first half. He had a really bad upset stomach. I didn't know that. And then he came back in the second half and shook it off, said, I owe y'all. And he told the whole team that at halftime that I owe y'all, I'll get y'all. And he did.
Jimmy, you got any questions for Joe?
Hey, Coach, what did you say to him at the halftime? I know you talked about the block punt, which I thought was it took the kind of air out of their balloons there at the end of the first half. But what did you say to him at halftime?
Man, we had to play one play at a time, and we got punched dead in the face. I mean, I told them, I said, right now they're outplaying us, and they want it more than we do. We just got to. It's going to be a war in the second half, and if we don't buck up and play, we're going to have a long night and probably a loss. So I challenged them to play it just one play at a time, and then execute.
Yeah, you were telling me during the 1st and 10 show last week, he says, watch out for these guys. I mean, they're big, athletic. Stevens is a good runner, but you got to take your hat off to the defense too. And, they had, 36 yards rush passing. But, just an overall great effort by your defense tonight.
I thought the defense was outstanding. We were leaning on them hard. Offense was a little sluggish at times. They kept us in the game. They made plays. They created opportunities. They caused takeaways. The defense played really, really well.
Coach, go celebrate this one, 36 hours. I'll talk to you Tuesday for 1st and 10.
I appreciate it. We're on the 8-hour rule tonight because we're playing St. Thomas.
Okay, great. Good. Enjoy it for 8. We'll talk to you later, Coach. Thanks.
Take care. Thank you very much.
Adios,
Appreciate
amigo.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, how about
That's it.
Let's take one last break and let's round it out.
Let's wrap it up after this break. Rams winning tonight 31-16 on the Antler Sports Network.
My name is Chance Ducote, and I'm the pre-owned sales manager at Moritz Chevrolet. The Moritz Promise is a lifetime warranty on the engine and transmission that's given to you at no cost. It's good for the lifetime as long as you own the vehicle. As long as the car is 10 years old or newer and has under 100,000 miles when you buy it, it's going to come with that. It's going to cover everything, all your lubricated parts that's part of your engine or your transmission. Come see us today at Moritz Chevrolet, home of the Moritz Promise. Not only is it going to give you a lifetime warranty, it's going to give you peace of mind and confidence.
Jared and Jimmy, Jones and Christopher here. Moose and the Saints wrapping it up on the Antler Sports Network postgame show. And there's a happy postgame show as the Rams get their 3rd victory of the year. They were down at the half, 16-8, but they turned it on in the second half. Big game by Ernie Caesar, 224 yards. Great game by the defense. Rams get their 3rd victory of the season. They beat the Aggies 31-16. Jared?
Well, they had us in the first half. I can't lie. The Rams definitely came out at the half, as you heard from Coach Prudhomme earlier when his talk with you and James. The halftime speech had to be something pretty magical, as the Rams came out like a team possessed, and as you can see, it ended in Wesleyan's favor.
Absolutely. So for everybody, for aforementioned James McBride, for Ricky Dotson, for our whole crew here, for Gino Borchardt, for Jared Jones and Antler Sports Network, Jimmy the St. Christopher saying so long from Crowley ISD. Big one next week, a noon start. Probably have a 1-hour pregame, so we'll join you at 11 o'clock on the Antler Sports Network and ramsports.edu at 11 a.m. That is for the noon against St. Thomas. They're 1-2, but they're in the top 25, so this is going to be a big one. As Joe said, just an 8-hour celebration rule because it's St. Thomas coming up next week. So for everybody here, so long. Rams beat the Aggies tonight 31-16. Adios.